Hello.
Hello, everybody. We hope everybody is all well and healthy on this Saturday night, the 18th of October. You got a few more weeks to buy candy for the gremlins that are going to come out at the end of October. Uh, we hope,
Hello.
hello, everybody. We hope everybody is all well and healthy on this Saturday night. The 18th of October. You got a few more weeks to buy candy for the gremlins that are going to come out on the.
Somebody have
Somebody's got a second.
Hello.
the YouTube.
On here. How about now? We good?
We're
Yeah,
good.
looks okay.
Okay.
All right.
So we're good there. And let me just bring up the chat. So we only have 5 people in here right now.
All right. Very good. We lost Chuck temporarily. So anyway, as you were saying, welcome to our what we call the general meeting, correct? So
Yes. The meeting of the mindless.
yes, and today we have a special treat for you. We have here Terry.
Way over there. Wait, I can't quite poke him. I can't quite poke him.
That is going to continue on the astrophotography series, and this is a second installment. And many of you saw in the thumbnail from YouTube, it will be on start trail, correct? So that comments on some. We have somebody else coming in. I think it's Chuck that is coming back, and Robert.
Yes, we have a few of our members have other things going on, other commitments. Roy's got his daughter's birthday going on, and if he wants to live to see tomorrow, he has to avoid us so his wife doesn't get out the axe or anything. So we got to keep him healthy. And Randall, as he states in the chat, he has no internet service right now, so he'll be in the chat. And David Stewart is out doing an activity. I'll let you guys guess what that might be. I know he went out earlier in the week to do Aurora. Yeah, he's doing a little. If you haven't watched the show before, you're out of the loop. I'm sorry. You'll have to figure that one out on your own. And I thank Robert for coming in since we were low on the body count here, and appreciate Chuck coming in as always. And we're going to have our normal routine. Gustavo, do you want to put up the...
Yes. So let me put the slide here so that you guys are aware of what we have for the agenda. All right. So we have actually, as usual, more complete agenda that we initially anticipated, correct? So obviously we will welcome everybody in the chat and ask all the panelists what have they been doing over the last couple of weeks since we last got together. Then we will have our usual initial segment when we gather the people for the feature presentation on announcement from Nikon and others. Then we will have our feature presentation from the astrophotography series. That will be the Star Trails by Terry Kontopoulos. Then we have a couple of things at the end. So once we finish with Terry, we got all the questions. I added a couple of things here on the agenda, a discussion segment about some interesting YouTube videos that we want to comment about, but also recommend. Also, we have then our photo sharing in terms of what have people doing recently. I have a couple of photos, and our friend Jim, aka Nikon lover, real Nikon lover, he sent me a couple of pictures that I want to share. Then I have a second discussion segment here, which I want us to participate, but also engage, to have future engagement about the new Nikon lenses and camera predictions for 2026. And we will finish as usual with the upcoming live streams and photo or image review. So that's what we have for tonight, guys. I think we have a nice agenda. I'm sure we will fill our regular time slot here. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we have. So why don't we go through what everybody's doing? So, Mr. Jeff, what have you been doing?
Be honest with you, not a heck of a lot. I caught up on my images that I had on my computer, waiting for my attention. Having a little knee problem, so I haven't been doing a lot of walking, and so I've been taking it easy this week for the most part, and recovering from that. And
you have some bad weather,
it's been a slow week, but I caught up on a lot of stuff, and I in the future I may do a surprise pre-recorded live stream where as I've done before, about some vintage cameras, and then show up when it comes up so that I can answer questions in the chat or have people talk to me in the chat. But maybe we do it as a regular live presentation. I don't know. I love the pressure. We could do it. We could do it live.
And you have some bad weather, correct? You had some bad northeastern.
Yeah, we had some bad weather, and we had a lot of beach erosion. The beaches are in pretty bad shape. So apparently in the wintertime, they plan on trying to replenish the sand on the beaches. We shall see. I'm not sure where they're going to get the money from to do that, but that's what they're saying they're going to do. So it's been a slow week, but I was able to catch up on my image editing, which was a good thing. I hate it when I'm like 1,000 pictures behind. It drives me nuts. But let's start with a little bit of, we got 25 images so far, just for the record, for the image review on November 1st. So we're at 25 right now, excluding mine, which isn't bad at this point in time. But, if you can get them in earlier, it makes it a little easier for me. Whatever you guys can do out there, we would appreciate it. I want to thank Jim for putting information about this show in a different venue, and trying to make other people aware that we're on tonight and doing and that we have 2 shows a month, and hopefully we'll get some new people that pop in the chat. And before I go ramble too far, I want to say hi to everybody out there. We got Randall in the chat. We've got Mozman is here, so hello to Tim. Nice to see you. Hopefully you're in sunny California. And we've got Robert Varner, and what's a wife? I like that one. Ted's here, Art Bear, J Rod, hello from Maryland. You'll have to let us know, James, if you've been at the dam getting any eagle shots as of late.
Eagling.
Done any eagling or not. Well, we got 12 people, and we'll see. Well, we'll just keep on rolling. I mean, the part I'm going to talk about is worth skipping over. But we will start with that and make sure that we have more people in here before Terry comes live and does his presentation.
Yeah. So let's go to Robert here. Robert, what have you been doing apart from work?
More work. Not much. The only photography I've been trying to do was last night. I tried to see if I could capture. There's a couple of green comets that are visible supposedly.
Okay.
One's called C2025 A6 Lemon LEMMON, which I think is just the observatory that they were able to find it from. But it's pretty small right now, just a fuzzy green thing. I couldn't get much of a tail. So hopefully in the next few days it'll get a little closer.
All right, very good.
About it.
Well, we're always looking forward to see the comments, correct? So fantastic. So hopefully you will be lucky, and of course the new moon is coming, so great a chance to see something, correct? So hopefully
I think it's supposed to be around the 20th, 21st is supposed to be the best opportunity.
Okay, perfect.
Of course it'll be cloudy.
Well, you never know. I would try at least to see it. So what about Chuck? Chuck, what have you been doing?
Oh, really? Just sitting around trying to talk more than anything else.
No. Well, we always like to see you here and see your cats. So please remember you have this community of friends to practice your talking if you want to talk here or privately as well. Correct?
Yeah, if you get tired of talking to the cats, I'll be more than happy to. I'll be more than happy to call you up.
Yeah. Our intelligence may be smaller than the cats, and we are certainly less entertaining, but we try.
All right, good.
Yeah. Terry, apart from preparing for the presentation, anything?
Well, that was the second thing I was doing. It main things is that I tried to twice for start for Milky Way photography and star trails, but not success because of the weather. Last moment changes with the clouds. And the other thing was I discovered that the Laowa 10 is not for Milky Way photography.
Yes.
It has a lot of distortion,
Oh,
which doesn't allow for this like that. It's good for star trails. It's good for scenery, landscapes, but for stars, not the distortion is too much. And part of that, I was just finishing the presentation, and that's it for the moment. Nothing more exciting.
yeah. I appreciate that. So in my case here, obviously getting the presentation or the skeleton of the presentation here for today, but also trying
And
to do
teach me.
trying to do some fall photography. The colors are just about to end here in the area, so we still have a lower elevation, some cottonwoods are and later on, when we talk about the photo sharing, I will share some photos that I actually reprocessed in preparation. But the weather has, as usually the fall, has changed a lot. And the days that have been good weather for fall photography, I have stuff to do, and the ones that I can go out, I have been out. But I'm sure I will get some. So and obviously I'm preparing for sending some interesting image for the photo review, fall related, but not related to the fall colors here in Colorado. So anyway, so that's it. So why don't we proceed? By the way, guys, you in the chat, if you want to let us know what you have been doing, we will definitely want to know about it. So let us know what you have been doing, and while we're waiting for those for your comments, um, uh, Jeff, shall we proceed now with the news and rumors?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw out that Tim, aka Mozman, put in a comment he could do a demo and show everyone why you should never buy third-party lenses. He had an
Okay.
experience that he would like to share. So at some point during the show, I mean, if you have to leave early or something, we'll just squeeze you in so you can share that, because I think people would find it very interesting, and it's
Sure.
kind of important to talk about it. I kind of know where he's going with it, but I'll let him do that discussion. And I just want to, let's see,
Anything else?
remind everybody how we're going to do the presentation. Everybody has different styles. The presenters all have different styles. And so prior to anybody doing a presentation from now on, those of us that are kind of directing the traffic per se want to make sure everybody's comfortable. So what we're going to do tonight with the presentation is Terry has different segments of his presentation. So we're going to hold the questions back until a segment is completed. He'll let us know he's ready to receive questions. And I ask you, if you have any, you do the QQQ in front of any questions you have while he's discussing each segment. And at the end of each segment, we'll address whatever questions are in the chat, and then he can move on to the next segment, and we'll do it that way. It may vary month to month, depending on who's doing the presentation and what their style is, because we want the people doing the pitch to be comfortable. That's very, very important. So let's get into a little bit of the general discussion. on rumors and whatnot. I almost had a heart attack the other day when I saw that Nikon finally came out with a few APS-C DX style lenses. The lightweight 11.6 ounce Nikon ZDX 16 to 50, which is a 24 to 75 millimeter full frame equivalent. F2.8 VR up to 5 stops, and it's $899.95. And then they also introduced a ZDX 35 millimeter, which is a 52 millimeter full frame equivalent, f1.7 lens for $440, basically $450. And it's a macro lens with 2.8 inch close focus capability, 0.67 times magnification, which in full frame lingo gives you a 1-to-1 ratio with your macro, and it weighs in at 7 ounces. So I know Matt Irwin, there are many that have already started doing videos on those lenses coming out. Matt Irwin did it. He he felt that it was a I'm trying to remember his exact words, but basically he was saying, this shows that Nikon is active with the APS-C format, so on and so forth. I'll disagree slightly. I'll say, yeah, it's. I'll just say it was a long time coming. They kind of, to me, almost it felt like they gave up on the APS-C cameras for quite a long time. I went and I looked at all the lenses that they have, and including these two new ones, they only have 7 total DX lenses in their lineup. Now, if you look at a company like Fuji, who is basically predominantly APS-C with some medium format cameras, they have 40 APS-C lenses that they make specifically for their camera models, and they have over 135 lenses available if you count third-party manufacturers that make lenses for their X-mount camera bodies. So Sony makes about 20 lenses, and Canon only has like 4 RF -S APS-C style lenses right now. So I'm glad to see it. I hope they do a couple more. I think they have enough now to satisfy most people that are trying to dip their toe into the APS-C. You have the Z50 series of cameras, which are decent cameras to use. So I guess a lot of people will say now let's. Okay, I see Tim's comment. Just let us know, Tim. The guys will look in the chat, and then I'll stop talking. We'll let you go ahead. I think everybody's going to be wondering out there now, as they came out with these two lenses, if they're going to come out with a higher level APS-C camera body or not, which some people desperately want to have. They don't feel the Z50 cameras are necessarily a D500 equivalent. I kind of felt that they pretty much are, but that's my opinion. But we'll see if they do anything more down the road. What's neat with both these lenses that they came out with, they both have 9 rounded aperture blades. They have suppressed focus breathing, so they're very suitable for doing video work. The hood is optional on the 35 millimeter lens. You have to pay extra for it, but you do get the hood on the zoom lens. And both lenses are what they categorize as dust and drip resistant, and they both have metal mounts. So neither one of them has the plastic mount that you have on like the 40 millimeter full frame lens, which has a plastic mount. So that'll make some people happy. Nikon rumors from them. The ZR is shipping. It's in stock in Canada, and that came out on the 16th, where he mentioned that. You have new 7 Artisans autofocus 35 millimeter f1.8 lens for Z mount, full frame. It's officially announced it's going to be $299 at B&H. Now, if you go directly to the 7 Artisans store, they have a code that you can apply where you can save an extra $15. So it's selling normally also for $2.99, but if you put in the code, which is on their website, you knock an extra $15 off of it if you're interested in it. A few Nikon products received a Good Design Award. I'm not sure who created this Good Design Award. You know what the photographic institution came up with that, but they won an award for the Z50 Mark II and the Z28 to 135 f4 power zoom lens. Now available, it's on this list here, is the new Laowa autofocus 200 millimeter f2 full frame lens for Z mount. It's $19.99 price point. There are numerous videos out there where I know Matt Granger did a comparison between, because there is a 200 millimeter Sigma lens. I know Matt has the 200 millimeter, same one that Chuck has, the old F-mount lens, which is a phenomenal lens. And he did a comparison between a lot of these lenses. So I think the one thing I did notice is that it seems that Lau has been listening to a lot of comments from people that were given pre-production models, and they have been working on firmware updates to address some of the things that people complained about. And I think in the end, it's going to be a pretty good lens for the price point. Not necessarily the best of the best, but it will be a good value for the money, and time will tell when we get more reviews out there.
Who mentioned? I think I saw that in one of the reviews that they compared with the Sigma. They say that the Sigma was optically better, but it's
Yes,
also
it
more
is.
expensive. But who that was? Matt Irwin that did the
Matt,
comparison.
Matt
Was
Granger. Matt Granger.
Matt Granger, and so when he compared the two, he said that definitely for him. So that sounds pretty convincing, correct? At the end of the day, it's always value for money, correct?
Yeah, yeah. And what's interesting, there's a future 17 millimeter tilt shift lens, an f4 tilt shift lens that's going to come out. That's for Z mount and Sony E mount. It already exists for the Fuji X mount and the GFX mounts, and those mounts they're selling it for $509. So you keep a lookout for a future 17 millimeter f4 tilt shift lens if you're into something like that. They're advertising obviously as ultra wide, 17 millimeter perspective, great for architectural and landscape work. It tilts plus or minus 8 degrees and shifts plus or minus 8 millimeters. Corrects perception distortion with precision, 360-degree rotation, 15-degree click stops, ultra large image circle, larger than that of a medium format lens. All metal body with clicked aperture ring, 17 elements and 11 groups, sharp, clear, and detailed rendering. Close focus distance is 0.3 meters, and you can also manual focus capability. And it weighs about 1,056 grams with the hood. I'll also mention Matt Granger's pushing it on his channel a lot, and so are some other content creators. The new photography bundle that is out there that you can choose to purchase, that where a lot of content creators have put together bundles or packages with either tutorials on certain things that they do, or in some cases it might be stuff that you can import into Lightroom and use, and the money all goes for charitable organizations. So that, I think that ends on October 21st. So if you have any interest, I know Matt Granger has a list of all the different packages that are available and what the costs are. And if you order it through his link, I know he throws in an extra, we'll send you an extra video on doing photography, cell phone photography, that he'll throw in if you order it through his link.
So on the lens side, Jeff, one thing that I put here that you didn't mention was all the new Tamron Zoom Holy Trinity for the C mount, correct? Which now they have on these 2.8 lenses, these DI3VXD G2s, correct? They cover the range from 60 millimeters to 180 millimeters. So that's actually a very interesting proposition with regard to a series of probably good quality optical zooms at a reduced price. I think one of those lenses, I think it was a 70 to 180, is the same one that also is rebranded or repackaged as a Nikon lens, correct? Is that the one? They also have it as a Nikon lens. Right? So the Tamron lenses are also interesting. And on the Nikon side, a couple of things that you didn't mention, and I want you to comment about. Obviously, because the ZR started to be uh, uh, becoming available, correct? Then there is new version of NX Studios, and there is a new version of the wireless utility that was released because the shipment of the new camera, correct? And that include also, in some cases, uh, uh, some preset for adding grain to your photos, which for me is like a, contradiction in time because you're going people that want to go backwards, correct? But I don't want to add grain. But this is for my photography. I'm sure there is. So there is also promotions, correct? And obviously there is for our European friends, in particular in Germany, there is a up to 300 euros off in some stock for Nikon. And Jeff, you were commenting with me just before the channel that there is also promotions here in the United States, correct?
Yeah, so you get to buy the Nikon gear what it used to cost before we got hit with certain fees, if you know what I'm saying. So it may not feel like you're really saving any money. It's just that you're not paying any extra. So you may choose to buy, you may choose to wait because things change at the blink of an eye nowadays. So you never know what you're going to be paying for anything. So it just makes life more fun, I guess, or terrifying, depending on how you want to look at it.
I'm curious whether the F-mount lenses, that the big discounts that are here, whether they exist in Europe and other markets as well. I don't know, Terry, in Australia, do you guys get big discounts on the big F-mount lenses? Like some of them are up to
not really. Not really. They promote the new stuff, and wherever left over. Some shops they make specials just to push them out, I believe.
Yeah, because the 800 is like $4,800 off. The other ones are $3,800 off. But
I haven't seen any of them.
Seems to be only in the U.S. market, maybe Canadian market. I don't know.
And I'm not chasing these things. I'm not watching.
No, some people are though. Some people still want to get F-mount lenses,
yeah.
Maybe want to take that opportunity to buy, a lens that was, a lot more expensive before.
Yeah.
Exactly. The good thing, Bob, is that they continue to do at least some promotions, and as Jeff indicated, in some cases compensating the potential impact of the trade. So that's beneficial for us consumers here in the United States. So the other thing that we didn't mention here is, which I want us to keep an eye, is remember I mentioned a couple of shows ago this Exilor Luxottica that is that the owner of Ray-Ban brand, but also the owner of many uh, uh, glasses companies. It's a Italian-French company. That is the largest stockholder, actually shareholder in.
I think belong to BlackRock, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know what is in. I know that they are in Italy originally, and they have 20% of Nikon stock now. So they may influence how Nikon move into the future. I think the Japanese probably will keep control, but they obviously is interesting what's happening with this company because it may impact what happened with Nikon.
Well, it might provide them with more
Cash.
money that they can use for R&D. So you don't want to complain about that. As long
No,
as
no,
they
no.
as long as they maintain control, I think that's important. That they didn't they're not selling out to somebody else.
Exactly.
They
Exactly.
don't sell it, just changing shares. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Nothing really happened on the company. Just some moment on the board, there will be somebody with a little bit more percentages and things like that. They don't even the ones they buy them. They don't want to interfere
Yeah.
because they
So
buy what they buy. They don't buy something to fix it.
But
I know
sometimes when
that
you
from
put a
my
lot of money,
older company, which some guys came in and they had a reasonable percentage, but nobody knew them outside the board.
yeah.
exactly. No, let's say that. Hopefully, that will be the case, Terry. So, Jeff, on the other systems, what do you have on?
I'll jump to Sony first.
Okay.
Now there's a YouTube link. If you go to this is all from Sony Alpha Rumors. So whatever I'm saying, you can refer to them to get more information. But Sony Alpha Rumors has a YouTube link to what they say is Sony medium format system talk, 55.5 millimeter by 40 millimeter sensors with 150 and 200 megapixel capability. Lots of 1.7 primes and very expensive. And they say this is speculative, just to be clear. So if you want to have a fun read, not necessarily anything based on too much fact, but I guess they're just looking at like some things that have been patent applications and things like that have people thinking that Sony might be looking to dive into medium format at some point in time. So if you have an interest in reading gossip with maybe a slight hint of probability, then you can go and do that on the Sony Alpha Rumors site. And I found this interesting is, and it affects Sigma. It basically affects anybody who makes lenses for the newer Sony cameras. Is Sony has imposed that their cameras can only be used with a 15 frame per second maximum limit on their lenses, on their third-party lenses, because they're basically handcuffing them so that they don't compete directly with the Sony glass, because obviously the Sony glass is going to be able to do 30 frames a second or more, depending on what camera body you get. And they don't want the third-party cameras to be on an equal playing field with their lenses. So I don't know if everybody really realizes that that's the case or not, but there was an interview with the president of Sigma, and I think Petapixel was doing the interview, and they were a little nervous about really commenting on that too much, other than that they were hoping that things would change down the road. But I mean, that's a serious handcuff, especially, Sigma's coming out with I think a 300 to 600 millimeter lens. And if you're a wildlife person and you want a lens like that and you're handcuffed to 15 frames per second when you have a camera that'll do 30 frames a second or more, I wouldn't think you'd be too happy. You may not choose to buy their product because of what Sony is doing. So I thought I would bring that up because I don't know that a lot of people realize that. Now, there was a review on the Laowa 200 millimeter f2 that we talked about earlier on the Sony Alpha Rumors, and the particular person's name was Alex Phan, Phan, and he did a review on it, and he had the Sigma, or had used the Sigma version. I think he owns it, and he plans on getting rid of the Sigma version and getting the Laowa because he felt the Sigma was extremely sharp, maybe too sharp, and the Laowa for him had a much more pleasant rendering for his style of work. So he's actually going to get rid of the Sigma, and he's going to go with the Tamron. Now, someone also spotted the Tamron 25-200 FE lens at the Imaging World Fair in Nuremberg, Germany, and that's in an article dated on October 13th. And there's and if for those of you who are fans of certain individuals, there's an article dated October 12th titled "Tony Northrup says the Sigma 135 f1.4 is the most insane lens he's ever tested. It's $1,899, and he calls it the Bokeh King." So if you want some entertainment, you can watch that video and take it however you want to take it. Fuji rumors. This is interesting. In an article dated 10/15, the Fujifilm's manager set a big goal: overtake Nikon and climb to number 3, and that the X-E5 is leading the charge. It's interesting that they say the XE5 has been their biggest success in the last 12 months, and the GFX 100 RF series had started off well beyond expectations. It's now kind of stabilized, but it still has a healthy curve to it. And they say that the GFX 100 RF, and we know our friend John Ishii has one of those, and I think he bought one for his wife as well. They both have one, and they love it. And they claim it placed itself between the Leica Q3 and the Sony RX1R version 3, which is a whole entirely different story. The Instax cameras and instant film is still successful and selling very well for them. And it was noted that due to price increases, there have been quite a few price increases with Fuji, that they now only have one camera that is less than $1,000, and that's the X-M5. And there was a comment in there that the only thing Fujifilm wants to make sure of is that their retailers do not bundle third-party glass with Fujifilm cameras. So there's obviously some of these camera manufacturers are definitely having, we know Canon has is pretty much poo-pooing third-party glass. Sony has limitations on the frame rate you could shoot with third-party glass. And Fuji doesn't really want any of their cameras bundled with any kind of third-party glass. So there's all this paranoia or dislike for they want to make sure they keep their market share and keep their profits up. So they're making it difficult for the consumers. There was a fun article from October 14th called "About My Fujifilm XE5 Therapy Sessions and the Art of Letting Go." And a comment near the end of the article says, someone said, "So why no review?" And he says, "It makes no sense to review perfection." Or as a fellow Fujifilm brother wrote in his Amazon review, "It deserves 6 out of 5 stars. And this guy says, "I couldn't have said it better myself." That's his rating as well. I did read quite a few reviews on that camera, and it is a very interesting camera for the price point, However, I would not go so far to say, when you look at some of the limitations it has and the fact that it's not overly good at tracking moving subjects, and the subject detection is not the best, that certainly wouldn't give it 6 out of 5 stars from what I have read so far. But when you look at the whole package of the design of the camera, the quality of the camera, and the fact that unlike the X100 which everybody got all excited about, which is a fixed lens camera, this is kind of like a combination of I think they said an XT50 and a X100 it has commonality with those particular cameras, and of course has the benefits of having interchangeable lenses. So it sells for $1,699 with no lens, and it has that 40.2 megapixel X-Trans sensor, and it has some pretty impressive specs, but it does have some drawbacks. But for that price point, it's, you know, they're seriously making their biggest problem, and I don't know if you want to say it's a bad problem or not, is people get ticked off because, like the X100-6, nobody knows when they're going to get one. You know, so their problem is they can't produce enough of their product quick enough to get it out to the market, and people are complaining they can't get their camera soon enough. But, you know, I mean, that bodes well for them because these people seem to be willing to wait however long they have to wait to get it. And they got a lineup of people that want to buy it. So I really think, in my opinion, that it wasn't a good idea for Nikon, personally, my opinion, to kind of like ignore APS-C for a pretty good amount of time, because you could have been very, very competitive. And the Z52 really spec-wise has a lot more capability than a lot of those Fuji cameras does.
Exactly.
But there, of course, it's a bigger camera, a little bit bigger camera, but you know, you can't wait forever you don't want to give up the market, you know, to somebody else. And they're definitely getting the orders in. So I hope Nikon keeps coming out with a few APS-C lenses and maybe a new body down the road, and tries to reclaim some of the market share that they definitely lost. So I hope they continue doing what they're doing. I'll jump to Canon rumors quick. And a marketing director at Canon France made this interesting but unsurprising to me comment at the Salon de la Photo 2025, which was just held in Paris. And he says, in spite of the economic context, the photo market continues to grow, which helps reduce the effect of the negative factors. This market is mainly made up of enthusiasts, and this forms a good buffer. And that just solidifies comments that myself and many of us had said over and over the years, that, you know, people get consumed by the opinions of pro photographers. Pro photographers do not keep the camera companies alive. Just like this guy recognizes, it's the enthusiasts that are spending the money on the camera gear. It's people like us that are spending the money on the camera gear. It's people like us that are keeping these camera companies in business. It's not the professional photographers. They're you know, look at the percentage of people that take photos, and a very small percentage, quote unquote, are professional photographers. And I would argue that many of the people who contribute, if not most, that contribute to our image reviews every month could go toe to toe with many of these so-called professional photographers with the quality of the work that they put out. And everybody should be very proud of what they do. The EOS R6 Mark III is going to be announced on November 6th. Alongside that camera, they're going to announce an RF 45 millimeter f1.2 STM that's going to be around $697 US from what I could figure out. And that'll be the only lens announced that day. There will be three more announcements later in November, towards the end of November. And I'm not going to get into I want us to move forward here and do the presentation. You can look at the EOS-R6 Mark III specifications on the Canon Rumors website if you want to know a lot about it. But as Gustavo has on the slide, it's 34.2 megapixels, same as the Cinema EOS C50, dual pixel CMOS autofocus 2 and multiple subject detect, 6.5 stops of IBIS, pre-capture mode, maximum frame rate using electronic shutters, 40 frames per second, open gate for video, and the price, I'm not sure what the price is going to be. I'm seeing numbers like close to $2,900. We'll have to see when it comes out. They're saying U.S. pricing is tentative, as retailers aren't getting official product pricing too far ahead of time here.
So a small correction here. Jeff. I think according to Kubaraz, it's Randall that keeps the camera companies alive.
Go, Randall, go.
Hey, Randall, you know, if you ever get bored, you can always donate gear to the rest of us on the panel or other people in the chat if you feel like you really need to unload anything. I'm sure.
And he does quite a bit of that too. So that's good. So Jeff, since we're going to go back to the YouTube videos, correct, which I mentioned here, so we can leave that alone. And we got some comments about. I have some comments about the new think tank. We can do that after the back end of the show.
Yeah.
Anything else you have, or should we move to our feature presentation?
Let's just see if Tim has his stuff together to do his quick discussion about third-party lenses or not.
Yeah, let us know, Tim.
So Tim, let us know if you want to pop in here and do that quick before we do the presentation. Otherwise, we'll check with you again after the presentation is done. So we'll give you a few minutes to get back to us here, and I'm just going to scroll back. Obviously, we're a little short-staffed tonight in terms of panel members, so I'm just going to kind of look back in time here and see if anybody brought up anything that we did not mention. Scubarazzi says he's getting ready to catch his flight to Malta. He needs to get images for the next photo review. Yes. That's good. I don't know why.
So that was me, Jeff.
That was you. Okay.
So keep talking.
I thought I did something wrong here.
As usual.
As usual. I always got you. Yeah, you got to blame me. You know, it's. I got to take the hit. Yeah, and Robert Varner brought up the comment here. Maybe Nikon will release another DX camera. I kind of mentioned that, and I think many people would like to see at least one more.
And we will talk about that at the end of the show as well.
Talking about that at the end. Let's see. And I think J-Rod was at the dam the past 2 Fridays, and he says not many eagles, but it should pick up by mid-November. Yeah, the colder it gets, the more eagles you see, and that's when you'll start seeing them getting more branches to build up their nests a little bit more, or do a little bit of repair work if they haven't already done it. And then when you get into late November and December, I mean, that's when I know I have the opportunity to potentially finally get one, maybe get lucky enough to get a shot of one of them trying to get some food. And last year I did get a picture of one of them diving down and killing a mallard duck and swimming with it to a little island, and it was still alive. And then basically with one foot stomp, that was the end of the duck, and it was just laying there.
And Mossman, when I see you in the we don't see you yet. We will bring you on, because I don't see you yet. So try to connect if you want to present now.
Oh, he just said at the end, let me hop in. Okay, come on in quick. Hop on in. We'll let you in.
Exactly. But you see, he's not there yet, correct?
Yeah, he's not here yet. We'll give you a couple minutes. Does anybody have any future? Okay. He's here.
All right.
By the way, Jeff, I have your photographs ready.
Beautiful.
Okay. Here's Tim.
So let's maximize him so that he can do his portion here.
He's in the purple haze. You playing Purple Haze music?
Hey.
Always. See the guitar?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So I just wanted to pop in, and I don't usually buy third-party lenses. I have a bunch of manual focus third-party lenses, but as far as autofocus lenses, I usually just stick to Nikon or whatever brand camera body it is. But there was a deal on a lens, and I couldn't resist it. And it was the new Viltrox Lab, the 135. And It was on sale. It was an Amazon Prime sale. It was another $200 off, and I don't really have a use for this focal length, but I decided for the price I'd pick it up. And ever since I got it, I had nothing but problems with it. So and then once I had problems with it, I remembered that there are a few YouTubers that were reviewing this lens that had some problems, and I think one was Omar Gonzalez, and he didn't really have any focusing problems in stills, but when he put it in video mode, he was getting some pulsing. It wasn't locking in very well. So I had that in the back of my mind, and then I also had in the back of my mind that they released a firmware update for this that was supposed to help with focusing issues. So I tried to update the firmware, and first I downloaded the Viltrox app and tried to connect to the lens that way, and it's got the little USB port in the back. I couldn't get it to mount either on Mac or on Windows 11. So then I knew that they had a mobile app, so I downloaded the mobile app. I couldn't get the mobile app to see the phone. So the only way I could actually get it to work was using the USB through the computer. And then I gave up on the app, and the mobile app actually worked for me in the long run. I applied the latest firmware, and it didn't help matters at all. I went back and forth with Viltrox support because I wanted to keep the lens. I didn't just want to return it. So I really wanted to keep it. I went back and forth with Viltrox support. It was a multi-day process. There were long gaps in between emails. Some of the stuff I had to repeat myself over and over on. They asked me, the first thing I said to them was I explained the situation, and I let them know that I updated the firmware to the latest version. And after like 4 or 5 emails, they asked me what firmware version was on the lens. So that was just a frustrating process.
Let them know what you were seeing, Tim. I don't know if they know.
I'm going to hook it up. I'm going to do a demo.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So Tim, that's what you want, correct? Spend some money and then spend a lot of time with emails back and forth and talking to
exactly
company. So congratulations.
But I really gave them the benefit of the doubt, and I wanted to like it. And the pictures from it are really nice. But let me I'm gonna do a little demo here. I'm gonna show you what my issues are. So right now, just got a ZF hooked up next to me, and the closest prime focal length I have is the Nikon 105, the macro. You can see lighting conditions. Just move over here, and this isn't the fastest focusing lens, but it locks on pretty quickly. And this isn't exactly great lighting, but you can see how quickly it locks on.
Yes.
Let me swap it out for the lab.
And the sad thing is, there are multiple people on YouTube that have praised this lens up and down as well. So it's like a mixed bag of reviews out there. So you really, I hate to say it, when you go to buy anything now, you better watch as many videos as you can, because you watch one and say, well, I like this guy and he loves it. You're going to find someone else that finds something wrong with it.
Tim, you have to mirror the camera because we see it reverse.
Can you guys see it?
But we need to mirror.
Mirror your image.
Why does it? Yeah, I don't know why it does that. It's like
it doesn't make any difference.
The little wheel underneath, you can quickly.
No, I got it. I hold on a second. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Oh, it won't let me do it while I'm broadcasting.
Oh, are you sure? Because it's part of the but in the restream, the little wheel in the restream.
Let me check the restream settings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can do it in there.
You see, we are becoming better at this, Tim. We can give you some advice nowadays.
I appreciate it. All right, so now the lab is attached. You can see I got the focus on the head, and this is what I get. Ooh. It just constantly pulses.
Horrible.
And then go over here, and then it just gives up eventually.
And you get a seizure as well.
Yeah, that's like exactly. One of those warnings you get for certain movies.
Oh my God!
Yeah. Must be a bad copy.
Yeah, but at this point, I've lost confidence, and I wanted to exchange it. At this point, I'm just going to get my money back. I throughout the whole process of going back and forth, and it's just It's not worth it. And the other thing about this lens that is very unnerving is it's a heavy lens. It's almost as heavy as the 70-200.
Yeah.
And the elements are floating in the lens. So you pick it up and you immediately think it's broken. And for a lens to be, it rattles a lot. I mean, you can feel all the elements moving in the lens. And it's heavy, and it worries me. It worries me, like if I transport it anywhere, in a bag or something like that I can't, like, just completely carry around like a baby from A to B. That it's just not gonna be good for the lens in the long run. So I think I'm just gonna get my money back.
Does it do this in all lighting conditions? And does it do it outside as well?
Yeah, all lighting conditions. It doesn't seem to matter. Let's see.
Maybe you're waiting for a new bunch to come out. Maybe this bunch was problematic.
That seems to work better. Still hunts, but at least it locked at one point.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just.
But it's still pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to be taking photos and fighting the lens, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I buy a lens, I want it to work. I don't want to have to just cope with it.
You have to speak nicely about it and pet it before you use it.
Oh, I'm too old for that. I'm done with that. You should hear I talk to Alexa these days.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew when you popped in, this was too important not to share with everybody, because this is the danger of third-party lens purchasing, and then of course you can. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. You get crap for manuals on these lenses. You get no information on these lenses. You're lucky if you get a piece of paper that just shows a picture of the lens and an arrow to the buttons and what the button is supposed to do. But you're lucky if you even get that. And if you have a problem, good luck, as Tim is finding out. Good luck if you have a problem.
What I will credit them for is their packaging. I mean, this is packaged better than a Nikon lens.
Yeah, very important.
It's a nice box. Unfortunately, it didn't work, but the packaging was nice.
Yeah, packaging broken items still doesn't make you feel good.
Exactly. I'm sorry. We're laughing at your misery, Tim.
That's okay. I'll get my money back.
You'll get your money back.
Yeah. I feel bad for people that can't get their money back when they buy stuff like this.
Exactly.
Maybe you can reverse a fee on them, Tim, and get some extra money.
Yeah.
Must be a bad copy, because Matt Ranger tested, and he was really, really straight away. He said about the weight and everything. But
yeah, I know there's some YouTubers out there that have given it glowing reviews, but in the back of my mind always, and I know some of these guys pretty well, in the back of my mind is they get this stuff for free,
not particularly him, and he was showing the focus and all this, picking up very easy. That's where I insist. Maybe it is a bad copy.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a bad copy. But it just
he may have
doesn't sit well going back and forth.
The last one with the last updates and all this.
And then I posted I took a small video clip of this. I made a video. I posted online to some groups, and I got a lot of feedback from people that were experiencing the same things. So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna send it back. I think Real Trucks really just needs to. I think they just need to work on their firmwood a little bit more.
Yeah,
the lens is great. The photos that you can get out of it are fantastic, but I think they just need to put some more work into their firmware, and then should be fine.
The rattling of the lens elements definitely seems to be as designed. Because
it is as designed.
Matt mentioned that as well. That it is a little disconcerting, as long as you can deal with that. The only issue, I haven't bought a lot of third-party lenses. I bought a few not Viltrox,
Voigtlander. You got Voigtlander lenses.
Yeah, the other V thing. The only issue I ever had with one of those was a brand new one I got, and when I opened it out of the box, something that sprung internally with the diaphragms, and it was like this odd shape, well, one element going somewhere else. So I just called the guy over at Camera Quest, I think is the distributor, and he said he just
Camera Quest. Yeah.
He sent me a new one without me even sending the other one back yet. So he's very good about that. So he just sent it out right away.
So Tim, for John's benefit, what the model number of that lens is? The Viltrox.
This is the Viltrox 135 Lab, John.
That was what, 1.4, right?
1.8
or 1.8.
Yeah.
It's sort of the
just
Plena.
like
It's their Plena.
Like the
Their, their version of the Plena, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except it's
I
heavier.
discovered last week, this week actually, that my Laowa, which, but I think it is the nature of the lens is 10 millimeters too wide. I wasn't expecting to see so much distortion on the sides, which is a big part of the lens. It's not just the edges. It's about 20%. I will not be exaggerated if I say 20% around. It is really noticeable on a naked eye, straight on a computer straight away, the distortion. But it's very good for any other things. But for the stars, for example, was really noticeable because you could see the lines. It was everywhere. Wow. But of course, it's the nature of the lens, which is 10 millimeters, 100, I don't know, 160 something. I think 160 degrees or something.
Yeah,
how's the vignetting?
View, 160 degrees. Yeah.
Maybe less. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It'll take me.
Okay, shall we go to the presentation?
Thank you,
You're
Tim.
welcome.
And then we'll let Terry. You all ready to rock and roll, man?
Okay.
All right. So its show is yours. And a reminder to those in the chat, if you have questions, they will be answered after each section is complete. Put a QQQ in front of any questions that you come up with while he is talking. And we will get to them at the end of each section.
And okay, first of all, thanks for having me. And I wanted to prepare the people. That's my second time I'm talking publicly, if we can call it that. And if they find some mistakes, don't thank me. Don't hit me too hard. All right. I love every kind of photography, and one of my, if I can say it, favorite is the star photography. And that's why I took this challenge for the presentation of the star trails. It was a challenge at the beginning, but it's not a big deal as the star trails it is. It is similar like the star trails, because the star trails, as far as it looks like it is something difficult, it is not. And I will try to explain that now. Well, basically it's what we need, except the clear moonless sky. We need a camera, we need a lens, a tripod, some accessories to know what we're doing with techniques. And I will try to give some bonuses, examples of my photography to help. If we pass the first, that's the introduction I make. What it is, star trails photography is a projection of the movement of our Earth, with a beautiful universe as a background. And now we're talking about camera. APS-C or full frame? That's a big question most of the times. My opinion is that the APS-C or DX will give some reach as the 1.5 or 1.6 or even, yes?
I don't know if it's on your end or if it's on Gustavo's end, but I'm not seeing the presentation move. There it goes.
There we go.
Oh, I have changed it. I don't know, maybe if I make a test. Yeah, now it works, isn't it?
Huh? Okay.
Yeah, now it works.
Yeah, he had it. Anyway,
I fix it, Bob.
it's okay. Just a hiccup. It's not the first one. It will be more.
At
It will be more from me
least
later on anyway.
at least I didn't wait till the end.
I will repeat that then. It's the question of between APS-C and full frame photography cameras, actually. My opinion is that the APS-C or DX for the Nikon users will give a little bit more reach, as it was 1.5 or 1.6 for Canon, or 2 multiplying factors of the sensor, which will help to magnify the focal length of your lens. Although that's an advance for some users, it's a bit of a trap. As we know, the APS-C lenses are not as wide in general, lenses compared with the full frame sensors, which will give you a better wide angle local focal length wake up there, as in most of these cases better resolution and rendering. Generally, the full frame, in my opinion, full frames, the lenses are better in almost all the aspects compared with the DX. The reason is another time conversation. The rendering we need for astroscapes, Milky Way, and star trails, we need as much details and rendering as possible. Don't forget that the many megapixels are not always the factor for the detailed and properly rendered images, as the size of the photodiode of the sensor and the lens, for example, it is. It is that what camera we have or what camera we want to invest for this photography. Do you have any questions about the cameras? I don't think so.
Nothing yet.
You can shoot me.
Okay.
Next topic is the lenses. Sometimes the lens we have at hand dictate what we can shoot. DSO, the deep space object, or astroscapes, etc. If you have some focal length like 100 and 150 or so, it's better to try deep space object instead of generally astroscape, as I can call it. In general, whatever lens we have is just a tool. And the artist which is used the tool, it is the reason of the result and not the tool. Don't shoot the messenger. As an experienced phone photographer, like iPhones and this, could achieve better results than a poor PC user in Photoshop or other photo processing programs. In general, the better proper focal length and faster aperture lens we can have, it is the one we have to look for. That's the main point for the lens. But whatever lens we have, I believe we can use for star photography. If we need any more details on that, or we can pass to the third.
Keep on going. You're on a roll.
The third and very important topic is the tripod. Many of us, if not most of us, learned with time where a big part of our budget have to be the investment for a tripod, and not the cheaper and easiest to use three-legged thing. Sorry, it's not pun intended. I started with one of those cheap and easy tripods, and during the time I changed a couple of times because of the inability to help me to do what I wanted to do. Later on, of course, I have to change, and I bought a huge one, the Gijo Series 5, which now sitting in my home studio, as it is a bit more than just a strangle to care for outdoors. And now I use it just a little bit smaller, the Series 3 from Gijo again. And I have Gijo because I'm not trying to make advertising, but I trust it because the difference between the RRS, the American one, and the Gear or something. I can't remember the name, the other American brand, which they are really, really good ones. But for us here in Australia, the difference, the financial difference is big. That's why I prefer the Gijo. And I'm using the 3 most of the time for my Z9. And I have a small, medium, how would they call it? I was using to call it Sirui, but they call it, I think, Surrey. I think it's like that. When I'm using my Z5, which is much lighter, or the weather is calm, my message generally is invest the better tripod you can afford. You will never regret it, as most of us. Unfortunately, the most expensive most of the time is the better ones. But please, when you manage a budget, put as much money possible for the tripod. Ba-bam. Now the accessories. We need a remote controller, a lens warmer, extended power bank. Remote control is not so important anymore. Most of the cameras provide a delay start, but the remote controller is wireless or wired. It is nice to have as many times you can bypass cameras controls and make your life easier. More of that a little bit later. Filters can be helpful when you shoot for the stars. For example, if you are close to a light pollution, close to city, road lights, houses around, a natural night filter may help. I mentioned here the hydrogen alpha bypass filter, but it's not for star trails, all right? Keep that in mind. It's more like what my friend Robert gave us this beautiful presentation last time, sorry. It's more for the deep space object, which improves the red light for the deep space object, increasing the contrast and making focus easier most of the times. And talking about focus, a button of mask filter is a must for helping on this, and that the finer filter is the better. I'll show you which one is this here. The original is the left one, if you can see my cursor, which is a bit awkward. You see these gaps here where they had some screws to make it closer and wider for different size lenses. It was grabbing from outside, and I can tell you that was a bit of struggle to fix for each lens all the time. Later on, I find out that because I use 100 millimeters filter holders, I find this plastic square, which you can see what the button of mask is basically. And nowadays you can find even modern magnetic one. I think Gustavo had a new one. And it helps to focus like that. When you have the star somewhere in the middle, it's not necessarily absolutely in the middle. But if it is a strong star, strong light, I mean, you will see this X with the middle section goes to the left or to the right. And if you achieve the centering, you have a perfect photography, perfect focus, sorry. It is nice, helpful, but not so helpful I find out when you have too wide lens, as I tried with the 10 millimeters, and it was really almost impossible to make focus with this because the big field produce, of course, much smaller stars. We can pass then to the rest of the accessories. One basic is the lens warmer. It's a strip of material, 2.5 inches, 7 centimeters, enclosing a heat coil and wrapped around the front element of the lens. Don't put it all over the lens. And close with the Velcro. It is this one, the first one on the left, with the name Haida. I'm using this one. They give it to me. It was really nice, and I'm using it. And I have a couple more. And of course, need an external power bank on the middle to heat the coil inside and keep the lens humidity free, and which it will help very much to provide power to your camera, because as you will see, the star trails need a long time exposures, and through the USB-C, most of the new cameras have, you can connect both of them, because most of the power banks have more than one exit. You can use one power bank for your coil, this for the camera and other things if you have. And of course, you can use a dummy battery if your camera doesn't have the C, as we said, the USB-C. You can use the dummy the battery. As you can see, my at the right there is my Z9 dummy battery, which I connect to the same power bank, and I never had a problem actually with the Z9. I use it only once, because my Z9 can last enough time to make almost all night photographs. But I have it because I like to have toys. I'm a boy. Any question for that? I hope not.
Do you have any guidelines or pricing for any of these accessories that you're talking about?
Well,
the warmer, what?
Yes. By the way, yes. The high dam showing here is the most expensive, if we call it like that, is about 50 Australian dollars, something like $30 American, I believe, but maybe you can find it cheaper. But you can still find cheaper than that. This one, there is a Haida and sells the name too. But I think some other ones, the same quality, a bit cheaper. But they're not so expensive anyway. About the power bank, is depending what we want to achieve. I have a power bank which I use for my laptop, which was costly. But I have power banks for general use, and this particular is 65 watts, which is plenty of power for camera and things like that, which cost about, if I remember well, about $45.
Yeah, I know what's a little scary is I believe that the airlines have put even more tighter restrictions if you're traveling on power banks now. How powerful they are. I think they really
here in Australia, at least, all the batteries, doesn't matter what, lithium batteries, all the batteries, big or small, they have to be on your bag, other thing. And actually, I lost one of these. Actually, an Arctic, a big one, Arctic or something like that. When I go to New Zealand, and when I go fine, but when I return, it was missing from my bag. And because I've left it in the camera bag, because I thought, it will be okay, no problem. It's just it's charger, blah, blah, blah. That's how I thought. But when I came back, I had a message of, thank you very much for the battery. Somebody had it in New Zealand.
Oh, brother.
Yeah. And the remote, the dummy batteries is something like between $15 and $25.
Now, do you get that? Does Nikon sell that, or is that an aftermarket?
That's aftermarket.
Okay.
I don't think Nikon have produced one of these.
Okay.
I know they were doing for other cameras, as I had the 850 or the Z. I'm not sure about the Z5.
Yeah, I noticed it says made in China. I didn't just saw that now, made in China, so it's definitely probably not Nikon.
Yeah. Because look, from the other hand, Nikon was extremely expensive for nothing, just a plastic box. nothing
Yep.
more. And they were asking for more than $150, $200, which is, come on. Anyway, that's companies. Well, Pamela, now it's better to go to the techniques. Well, when we have everything and combine all the above, completely or partially, the star trail shooting, it is a fairly easy and straightforward. Firstly, you have to understand that it's a long and many times boring process. As for a decent length of trails, you need the 4 to 5 hours shooting. 480 to 600 frames of 30 seconds, make the math. As dramatic as sounds, 600 frames, wow. You will not need a supercomputer to process all these images, I promise. And I'll show you the way. The sending is mostly it is simple, meaning that after I send my camera to Polaris for the people in Northern Hemisphere or octants, roughly down here in the Southern, I'm focusing with the above mask if I have it, or if I don't, I'm trying to put it, the stars as small as possible on the viewfinder or the display behind, hoping to be as better focusing. Which actually, if I'm ready to shoot and I'm earlier there, I can focus the camera somewhere far away, more than 50 meters away, and automatically the lens will be on the infinity, which then I will turn or leave it on manual, and when I come back, I will have the camera, the lens on this. The problem with the Z series is when we switch off the camera, the focus will turn, I think, to the minimum. I'm not absolutely sure. Go to minimum or maximum. Anybody can help me on that?
I think it defaults to what's supposed to be infinity, but it doesn't always go to infinity and all.
Yeah,
all
because
lenses. Sometimes a little bit off.
Yeah, their own infinity is not exactly infinity.
Yeah, I know. Our friend David Stewart's complained to me about that a lot on the phone.
Yeah.
Some lenses do actually go to infinity. Some of them are slightly off. I know I've tried several of them. One of them that I have, I forget which one, does actually go to infinity, a proper infinity.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to make the focusing a little bit before the star trails, meaning no more than an hour, half an hour or so, which I still have a light, and I can make a focus. Which in my case, I'm lucky enough to have the people with the Z9 and Z8 have the live view, which helps a lot for focusing in cases like that. And then I'm leaving the camera on until I decide to start shooting. And there it is where we talking about the power and your battery. If you have a power bank, you don't care. Simply, you don't care. I'll show further down, close to the end, what can happen if you don't have enough batteries. Anyway.
And Terry, just to go back on the the lens, the Z lenses, how they want to focus to infinity when you or thereabouts, when you turn them back on, you can disable that feature in the settings, and theoretically it's supposed to come back to wherever you last left it. But again,
yes,
you got to practice. You got to make sure that's actually working that way.
Yeah, I find that before a couple of days, but I haven't really tested.
Yeah,
that's why I meant not to before tested to see if it works.
Right.
So that's helping me. Thank you very much for that.
So Robert, if you can, when we have the presentation and you have your C9 at hand, you can get that particular screen and show it up at the end of the presentation, because I think that would be good. Because I don't experience that with all my telephotos. When I switch off, change batteries or change lens. Obviously, you change lens is a different story, but it keeps the focus where I am when I switch off. So
You may have disabled it, not remembered or noted.
Exactly.
I think the default is that it's on all the time.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay.
I'll see if I can find it. I got my camera, I think, within arm's reach.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right, Terry.
Returning. Well, as we said about the focus, the next setting, it is about simple, as I said, 30 seconds or longer if you use the Z8 or Z9 shutter speed. The maximum aperture you can have, 2.8, 1.8, 4, whatever. And the ISO, it is between 800 and 3200 ISO, which I should have changed that, but that's my main setup. The last week, this week, I tried it with the 6400, and no bad, but still, I would prefer not to go over the 3200. And that was the hard part, actually. Now the easy part of shooting. If you don't have a remote controller, you can use the camera's interval timer shooting for Nikon user, or the similar menu item on your camera. For Nikon users, a very important note. In the settings of the interval timer shooting, when you set the interval between shots, you have to calculate the seconds of the shot in binary way, meaning 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and so on. Meaning, if your shutter speed is 30 seconds, the interval must be 32 plus 1 for the reset. Total 33 seconds. Interval, other ways you will lose frames on the long run. As the Nikon cameras, we can say honestly, use the real time of shooting. When most of the other brands use the fake, but easier to understand time, as internally they count the same exactly time as Nikon. I've personally timed in my older Canon and verified that. It's a long story how I find that, because I had a problem for a long time, but I think it's probably for another time. After all, I have decided to use a remote controller, but just setting the camera on the continue shooting, then I'm locking the button on the remote control to on, with a small benefit of eliminate sort of the 1 second between shots. Some controllers, they make the 1 second, half second or so. When I have finished the lazy part, I'm gathering everything and going home for a bit of sleep. You can understand it's about 4 o'clock in the morning. For the coming of this, for the combining of all these images, I use Lightroom and Photoshop, or any program which use layers will do. Firstly, of course, I have to import all these images to my hard drive, which I do within Lightroom. Or you can use other programs like the StartStax, a program which is free, but with one small problem. It doesn't load RAW files. You have to shoot JPEGs or TIFF. I would prefer TIFF in this case. A couple of cameras, they have the capability to shoot straight away TIFF, or you have to convert them on your computer before you import them to StartStax. As it is obvious, I'm using Adobe, and for that, I will talk now. First thing after the import is to adjust the first one by enhancing the vibrance and the saturation to up to 20 to 25%. It's up to us. And maybe the exposure. Maybe you can give a little bit more exposure to your frame if need be. And synchronize all the rest with this. You don't need to do it again and again for the users of Lightroom. And then to make my life easier, I'm coloring between 50 and 100 images, as my PC can handle those and more easy by color. How can I do that? I have to avoid to have a 450, 600, 500, or whatever frames, and I have to count all the time 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to have a 50 or 20 or 100. By the way, I said 50 to 100, but if your computer is lower, it can't have all these images. You can make it smaller number, 20, 25. That will help you on the end. I'm putting all these images on my Photoshop from the Lightroom like layers. And the only thing I have to do is just collect them and press the blending mode from normal to lighten. Instantly, you will see the stars appear in image. Will eliminate, first of all, the noise in case of seeing, and in case you see a straight line, which can be from an airplane or meteorite, satellite, or wherever, you can go back to these layers. You can find which layers they have these lines, and easily with a paintbrush, make it small, thin as the line. And the only thing you have to do is just paint on top of it. What that does, because we have choose to make it lighten on the blending, what that achieves is you see only the light parts, which is the stars. The black color, which you can cover the line, it will not appear anyway. Then when I finish all this is the most difficult part, actually. Not difficult, just annoying, just trying to find which frames they are, the ones with a line to eliminate it. Then I flatten it, saving it. Most of the times I prefer to save it like a TIFF because I can adjust it better later on. And then I'm closing this one, I'm choosing the next color group, which can be another 50, 20, 100, depending on your computer. And I'm doing exactly the same. On the end, if you have a 600 photographs by 100, you have a 6 photographs. If you have 50, you have the 12 photographs, which again, you combine them exactly the same way. Until the end, you have only one image, and ta-da! The final image is with all the stars connected in log strings. Now you can see on the right, I'll make the summary. If we have any questions about for everything until now.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions here, Terry. First on the intervalometer, correct? You use the intervalometer inside the C9. You don't have a separate intervalometer, correct?
Yes. That's what I said in the camera, in the intervalometer inside the camera. Exactly. And most of the cameras now, they have the more modern cameras. Yeah.
Exactly. So it would be good to know, if you can, after that, tell us the menu number or the menu, how to navigate to that intervalometer, because people here may not know. So that's something that we can do during the Q&A section. Then when you take your exposures, let's say you take 10 to 100 exposures, did you put them in a folder just to work on that group of images, or how do you manage your files?
I put all the images in one directory folder. Okay. And from inside the Lightroom have the capability to coloring the frames.
Exactly.
Just like you can use stars, you can use flags. In my case, I choose to use the coloring because it's obvious. I can see 20 red ones, 20 blue ones, like that,
Exactly.
and
It's part
help
of
me
your,
to collect the group.
exactly. It's your basically your processing, correct? You're processing all your
Yeah.
raw images the
Yeah.
whatever way you want to.
Yeah.
And the last one, Terry, that I have is actually a request because in Photoshop and Lightroom there are many ways of doing things, correct?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it will be good to have, and we don't have to do it tonight. We can do that in another session. Is to have a kind of light demo like we did with Tim here, that you
Yeah.
go and take a series of photos in your folder, and you share your screen and show us a live demo of your processing workflow, because
Well,
it's good that you have here. And by the way, guys, we're going to make this presentation available, correct, to everybody. Terry was kind enough to send us a copy, but sometimes a demo of the processing, which sometimes can be the processing can be intimidating, that help people, correct? So that's
well,
kind of my comments.
well, I think was my mistake in this case. You are very right. I can do it even now if you want, if we
Okay.
have time. I can
Okay.
do it another time. It's up to you. But I should have put that on presentation instead of the photographs I have done,
No,
which is the
we,
final
we,
things.
we see where we end today, but we
Good to
definitely,
know.
I think people will appreciate. So that's why we gather
Yeah,
here. Comments,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Thank-
Well, we can try to show my picture, my Photoshop and Lightroom, and I can
Excellent.
easily show you what I do because it's very easy process.
Excellent.
Believe me, I'm lazy enough to try to avoid very complicated things.
I'm sure.
Well, I can do that after the end or whenever you feel like.
Okay.
About the intervalometer in Nikon cameras, it is on menu, as you can understand, on
Yeah.
photo shooting, close to the end. It's about three or four, I think, menus from the bottom, which
Okay.
is the intervalometer settings.
Okay.
And I think on 850 was the same.
Yeah, it's at the
I,
bottom, towards the bottom on
yeah,
all of them.
I can't remember the Canon, which I used to have it,
Yeah.
but I'm not so good on
The reason
remembering.
why I asked when the only time, and I was actually checked yesterday, it was in 2010 that I did some uh, trail start trail photography. I did it the old-fashioned way, and I can
Yeah,
show you in the show some of the photos in which I made basically a very long exposure. Like
yeah. Well, we had to avoid in the before the Z, at least before the Z I have, with the 850 and other cameras with the Canon previously, we had to avoid to make exposures more than few, probably minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, because it was the fear of we will create a problem with the sensor. I don't know, I do not know if that's a truth.
okay,
Yeah,
I do not know, but I have heard many times don't use it for too long exposures because you can create problems on the sensor.
okay,
And because of this fear, I never try. I
okay.
never go more than 30 seconds.
I did it in 2010 with my D300. It
Yeah.
wasn't not enough to create these long trails, but it actually was the camera was there open with the sensor for probably 3 hours or 2 hours. Okay?
Yeah, yeah.
I
And
just
that
want to,
must have give you really good, strong streaks of stars.
I show you, but Robert, you have
Yeah,
some
yeah,
comment?
yeah.
I just want to
Now,
share.
nowadays with the Z5 and Z8, you can go easy 15 minutes
Yes.
by the straight away from the camera.
I,
Yeah, I
I
haven't
just,
really find out if that was true and if it's not the same problem for more than 15 minutes for the Z series.
I just wanted to comment that I looked up the interval timer shooting mode is in your photo shooting menu. It's like the fourth item up from the very
On the
bottom of the
bottom, yes.
list. And when you get to it, the default is that it's off, and then when you press your toggle to the right, it'll ask you for the start time, choose the start day and time interval.
And then if they're on the interval, then you can go inside and choose what interval you want for each shooting.
Yeah, a whole bunch of different conditions in there that you could set up. So I'm not going to get into all those, but that's where you find it. It's going to be, in that photo shooting menu, and it's going to be like on a Z9, it'll be like the fourth item up from the bottom.
It must be all the Z cameras as it was on the D850 too.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nikon menu structure is pretty similar on all their cameras. It's always there. It's easiest to, when you get into the photo shooting menu, a lot of times you're at the top, go up, and that'll bring you right to the bottom, essentially.
Exactly.
Rather than go all the way through the stack.
All the way down.
So, but one thing, and Terry mentioned this earlier, alluded to it, is the thing that people get wrong all the time with the Nikon built-in intervalometer, and maybe the same thing with Canon and Sony, I don't know how theirs work.
Yes.
Is that the interval is start to start. It's not the interval between images. So people will tend to set an interval of 1 second because they want the images to be as close as possible. All that does is it tells the camera to take a picture every second.
Yeah.
And therefore the number of shots you tell it to take 300 pictures at 30 seconds, you're only going to get about 10 pictures out of it because it's taking 30 pictures during it counts down 30 images during that first 30-second exposure, which is actually 32 seconds, not 30.
That's what we were trying to do with a friend of mine, which is much more advanced than me. And we had this problem. We were trying to make 500-600 photographs, and they will come back 150.
Right.
And we couldn't understand what's going on. And we had heard from another Australian photographer, which is very good on star trails, just put 34 seconds. And we were using this one like a guide, and we were putting it on 34 or sometimes 35 seconds interval, which actually wasn't working so well because it giving us more gaps between the shots. If you see some photographs, I'll try to show you a little bit further down.
So Bob, for a point of clarification, so you want a 30-second exposure, correct?
Yes.
And
that means you have to put the 30 seconds exposure. If you have an 8-second exposure, or if you have a 15-second exposure, you put this according to binary system. If you have 8 seconds, you need just 8 and 1. If you have 15 seconds, you have a 16 and 1. If you have a 30 seconds exposure, you go 32 and 1.
Okay, so
it's the exposure triangle, right, Gustavo? If you want to change one stop, you double the exposure. And the way cameras are designed, all cameras are the same. All cameras are designed based on a base of 1 second. And your exposures are half a second, quarter second, eighth of a second. But then you notice it goes 15th. It doesn't go 16th. And it goes 30th, not a 32nd.
Of course.
All right. And then the same thing when you're going longer exposures. It goes 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, whatever, for full stops.
Yeah.
But it goes 15, not 16 seconds. It goes 30, not 32 seconds. So it lies to you. It tells you it's taking a 30-second exposure, but it's really taking a 32-second because that's the full stop difference. All cameras are designed the same, and the reason that structure was set up, remember back 50, 60 years ago, so this has been going on for a long time.
Of course.
The longest exposure you had was maybe 2 seconds or at most, or 1 second. But it was really down on the fractional seconds, right? It's easier to say 1/250th of a second than it is to say 1/256th of a second or 1/5/12th of a second. So it's just shorthand for people to understand. And
Yeah, probably the marketing department
right.
defined that.
And it didn't make a difference to the end exposure, right? You can't tell. The cameras weren't accurate enough to really show you 1/500th of a second. It's all mechanical.
Exactly, but it's based on the doubling of having of the apertures, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
To go full exposure.
So, and then the one that Terry's mentioning, let's say one is the interval in between the photos, correct? So,
right. So you want to give the camera some time to finish writing the image and then reset up to start. So so if it's 32 seconds, you don't set 32-second interval because it'll start cutting out an image here or there. So you give it 33.
That's what was happening with us. We were putting 30 seconds, and on the end, we were losing a third or more of the photographs we have tried to achieve. And we have found out, my friend said, okay, put 1,500 photographs, we will return 600 at least.
So you want to do 30-second exposure, correct? So let me just understand this. So you put a number slightly larger than 30 seconds, correct? Something like
no. Rob,
there's actually a formula for it.
I think we're going a bit far away. Simply calculate the exposure of the camera in a binary way: 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and so on. If you have a 15 seconds, actually it is 16. If you have a 30 seconds on your camera, actually it is 32. Okay. In all the cases, add 1 more second for the camera to reset for the next shot.
To write the file.
To reset. Doesn't matter what it does inside. It needs a second to prepare itself for the next shot.
And this only matters in the 15, 30-second range with the extended, and you can prove this to yourself. So take an image, take a 30-second image and time it, and you'll find that it's 32 seconds.
Okay.
With the extended shutter range that goes 60, 90, whatever, those are actual 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 120. So for the extended range, it's whatever it is, and just add a second to that.
Okay.
But for 15 second, 20 second, 25 second, you got to calculate it out. 15 is 16, 30 is 32, and the other ones are some fraction of their tops. So if you're doing 20 seconds, maybe you want to set yourself up for 22 seconds or something like that.
Okay. Good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That's all right. Well, if they like a summary, you have that enjoy a new way to spend the nights away from your family.
Yeah, that's a dangerous statement.
The good or the bad way? You can.
Yeah, I don't know. Depends how well your relationship is going.
Maybe it's good for you, bad for others, or maybe bad for you, good for others. Yeah. One more thing to consider maybe is to shoot instead towards the celestial pole. You can shoot eastwards or westwards. That's the way you can change the lines of the streaks of the stars, and you can achieve different effect to what you want to like a background. Bear in your mind that what I try to demonstrate here is the basics and the easiest way to be involved in the art of star trades, as a few more tricks and techniques are available in post-processing for refining the result, or during the shooting, like, for example, leave the stars a bit out of focus to produce thicker lines. You can see this image I have it now. It is a bit out of focus. You can see each star is much thicker. I can show you the difference on the next frame. And this is the offside, as we said before. You can play around. That's why we are photographers, isn't it? You can do it this way and have these lines. You can go backwards and have a different light. This photograph is from a friend and very good photographer, Caroline Shield, which they are with my friend on We Are Raw Photography. If you have a time, I will suggest you to visit this site. It's worth it. And now, this is first the bad example. As you can see, the gaps between, you can see here, if you see my cursor.
Yeah.
This is the gaps. This is an ugly thing, all right?
Okay.
And this happens because I didn't have realized that the battery was off. When I realized it and I changed it, because I didn't know how long I have left the the gap, and I thought, oh, it doesn't matter. Put a new battery and see what's happening. Because I had the Z5 and I had the a little bit used battery inside, which that's what it creates. And of course, you can't really use this photograph. Or maybe if you have a lot frames, maybe you will cover it because other stars are behind, which you can't see now. But if you have a different exposure or longer time, another star can take over and cover the gaps. And again, I heard that there is a technique which you can extend a little bit these lines, but you have to find exactly the center of the shot, not the center of the frame, but the center of the shot, and then you can move a bit, extend the lines. But I haven't really dived on that yet. And now you will see the focus, very fine focus, very fine focus. And you can see, yeah, for me, it's a bit too much. Too many lines.
Yes.
And in this case, you can see the discoloration at the bottom is the aurora, which in this case was unknown to me. I find it out when I come back to home. It wasn't visible on the naked eye, but it was visible on the camera with the 30 seconds exposure. And that was the benefit on the end. This is the very fine one. That's a normal one. You can see the lines is a bit less and not so crowded. That's what I think is a bit. Yes. And in this case, this one is 420 frames. Do I have another? Yeah, this is 400 frames. And this is 420 frames.
Wow.
With a normal focus. This is 550, but thicker and wrong exposure.
Okay.
It was too dark. By mistake, the exposure was something like, if I remember well, 12 or 15 seconds instead of the 30, which I lost most of the frames. I lost of this lot of stars.
Yeah, you're only picking up the brightest stars.
But you can see the example of the length of the star trail, of the streaks.
What lens were you using? And what stop?
This one, most of the time, I have it full open.
Okay.
The frame, the aperture is open, 2.8 most of the times. I don't have 1.8 for this kind. The only 1.8 I have is the 50. I never use for that. Most of my lenses are 2.8 on this wide angle.
Okay.
Here is one single frame, meaning I don't have combined the background with the foreground. I'm on the Cape Sunk, very close to us here, and we knew that the South Pole is here, Actually, we were thinking was here, but it comes out to be there.
Okay.
And it is only 163 frames. Some lines you can see very long, but that happens because there's not one star. Because you can see the gaps here and here. Instead, here is which probably was more than one star. And it was absolutely darkness with the light, very small lights inside the lighthouse. But of course, with the so long exposure, overexposed the. I wanted to try to see what will come on the end, and that was the result. That was just an experiment to see what can I achieve with the continuous without the foreground, the background separation, and putting back together. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it because the details are not so good. Plus, we don't have a pole star. Actually, we don't have exactly, but we have the octans, which is a bit out of the octans actually. But you don't really need to be dead straight on pole because even the northern hemisphere people, they have the Polaris. Still, they don't have to shoot straight absolutely on the Polaris. The actual celestial polar is a bit off. And the same thing happened here in bigger scale, a little bit more bigger scale than what is on the Polaris. But you don't really need to be definitely dead straight on the center. That's my opinion, but I think the results is here. They're talking by themselves. That's a 30-second shot, just one shot. That's
Wow.
one. It is one of the many. I make the other photographs I showed you before.
And
That
Terry,
means you can see that there is background first shot. Actually, foreground have been already shot earlier, and the background later. From a 50 meters difference. The one is behind the lighthouse. This is front of the lighthouse.
and Terry, I think you meant to say with visible aurora, not with no visible aurora. Right? The no is
Actually, it is visible here, but not visible. Wasn't visible.
Oh, you meant it wasn't visible to the naked eye. Okay.
No.
Okay.
And I have people coming beside me and asking me if I was photographing there, waiting for the aurora, and I was said, "What aurora? What are you talking about?" And they told me that was three nice girls. Then he said, "But we had a photograph from a friend. We had the aurora." I said, "From where are these people?" They said, "It's from Tasmania." And I thought, "Oh, look, Tasmania, enough south than us. Probably from there it'll be okay, but from here, I don't think so." Of course, the girls, they were disappointed. They sit there waiting for another half an hour, and eventually they're gone. And when I come back to my home, I found this.
You tricked them.
Yes. Yes. This is
You
one
broke
of
their
the
heart to
spots.
send them on their way.
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
Actually, I wanted to keep them there, but anyway.
Yeah. Get off
Just
my
for
lawn.
company, you know. Well, that's the one shot. And now I'll show you some effect. Can you see the difference? It's the same shot.
Okay.
It's not exactly the same shot. It is result, not exactly the same shot, to be more honest. And look, this. Can you see the difference between the two?
The head of the stars is larger, right? Streaks.
Yes. And
Look
on
like
this one is the opposite.
bunch of comments, Robert.
Yeah. That's
Now,
a comment.
combine
comment
these two. Yeah, combine these two, you have this.
Okay.
That I'm showing that to show that it is many ways you can do it, but you have to to be more involved with the processing, with the actually with the post-processing. And if you are good enough on the Photoshop, you can achieve things like that, which is enough complicated. You see this, but it's not easy to achieve. It is a series of processes inside the Photoshop to achieve this. If you know how to do it, after 1, 2, 3 times, it will be easy. And I'm now, as I was talking with my friends Robert and David the other times, I'm trying to make a macro to make it available to all of us if they want to do something like that. But I have a problem. So I'm doing it in some photographs, doing it in some other photographs, it doesn't. And confusing and really, and I'm not so good on making the macros and all this. And I'm trying whenever I have the chance to, with a friend of mine, to help me to refine it. When I'll do it, I will make it available to us.
Beautiful.
But don't keep me on time. But that's another thing to show you can do whatever you want. You can put your imagination and your knowledge on a Photoshop. You can, or other photographs, other photography programs. They're not only Photoshop. And I hate Photoshop actually because of the subscription thing. But anyway, that's what I have, and I will have it until 2028. Which because I bought the earlier the subscription. But anyway, on 2028, we'll see if I continue with them. Now, that's a final background. You can make 1 or 2 of these and keep them like a background, and you can use them with some other foregrounds. In this case, as you can see, my last frame is it is with a nice tree, dead tree, which is obviously this background is from a different time, from a different place, and this tree is from a different place, and of course, different time.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Are you comfortable with anybody here in the chat sending you an email if they have something afterward?
Yeah. I have here's my email. And by the way, my site, which I fixed before a couple of days, I had a problem. So finally, I fixed it.
And Jeff, Terry sent me this presentation, so I send it to you. So as usual, you can contact
like PDF,
Jeff. Yes,
Robert had make it like PDF, and I copied Robert, and I make a PDF available.
Exactly.
Somebody may be helped with that.
Yep. Anybody wants it? Anybody in the chat or anybody who watches the show after the fact can contact me at selectiveimagery1@gmail.com and just request a copy of this presentation, and we will send you a PDF file.
Yeah.
Certainly, Terry. Thank you. This is fantastic. I mean, we know that you astrophotography is brilliant, and you now chose how to do it. Obviously, for somebody like me who never done or has not done this for a long time, this will be a great help, and I will try. Correct. So I definitely going to try, and when I try, I will show my mistakes. So probably when we get this new moon, I will try to go outside. And
I apologize, as I asked from the beginning. I apologize because I know I'm not so good public speaker.
No.
And I'm not hiding anything. English is not my first language. I'm a Greek, ex-Greek. I'm an Australian Greek. I've never go to the school to learn English. I learn English by listening music, Sting, for example, and reading. However, I can read on a small book the words of the songs. That's how I learn English. That meaning my accent and everything, I know it is not perfect, but I try to do as good as I can. And I know that I'm not so good on public speaking. Even when I was reading, you probably noticed I put other things inside, which I'm trying to do. I apologize if somebody a bit insulted.
The time and effort you put in was greatly appreciated by everybody, I'm sure.
It was my pleasure. It was my pleasure.
I enjoyed it. But I'll be honest with you, I probably don't have the patience to do it.
I can tell you it was a really nice experience. And talking with Gustavo, Robert, and David, we had this more, how call it, making conspiracy group. We were exchange some ideas, and we come with the birth of this idea of the star photography and the presentations, and it was really nice exercise for me, and I love the whole situation. I love your channels. I've never been member on any other channel any other time. I'm feeling here it is almost like my home, because I feel all of you like a friends of mine, because that's the environment you project. I just receive it. You project it. And I feel all right as I am. And I hope your style doesn't change.
No, I'm not changing my style. I'm just a laid back person. And Bob, we didn't interact a lot at work. I mean, I worked on different projects, and then Bob worked on most of the time. Once in a while, we engaged with each other. But he's probably aware of my reputation as being kind of a offbeat kind of person with a little bit of a comedy twist on a daily basis. But you know, to me, you got to have fun at work. If you can't have fun at work, then the work can kill you. You know, you got to have a sense of humor.
Do you have my new screen now?
Pardon?
I've changed my screen. Do you have a new screen, or you don't have it anymore, the sharing?
No, I turned you off. We could bring it back up.
Still, you have the old one. I don't have that anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
You have to.
What I try to do it is I have the Lightroom on.
Okay. So on chair. So Terry.
Can I go on chair again?
On chair, and then chair that other window. Your light.
But I close it. That's where I was. I switch it off the presentation and put the Lightroom in place.
We still see it. Look, we still have your presentation. So you are sharing. Let's see.
I don't have the presentation on.
Okay. So
I turned it on. I clicked it on. So you still have that on your screen, apparently.
No,
you don't. Okay. Well, that's kind of weird.
That's why I confused. If you close that.
Whoops.
Oh. Now we don't have Terry at all.
No, that did it.
Bye.
There he is.
There he is.
All
right.
Sharing.
Yeah.
Terry.
But Terry.
Anyway.
When you're looking here, let me tell you, your photography speaks by itself.
Correct?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And
I hope you don't take it the wrong way.
No.
You're so bad.
No,
it is so good that I tell you, and as a non-native speaker of English, like myself, I can tell you the good thing about having a group like this, they eventually will speak Terry. They are now, like Jeff, speak a little bit Gustavo already. Now Robert is different.
And I look a little Gustavo already.
No worries, you have the three over. You are the moon guys.
He just has to tell me where he gets his shirts, and I can buy one so we look the same.
I still have things here.
Yeah, he has a little bit. I know he has a little bit.
Not there. You see, yeah. I'm going to.
Yeah, you're getting there. You got time yet.
I'm a non-native speaker of English as well.
Yeah, we come from that place there. That one.
I know. You are South American.
Yes.
I may be speaking my native tongue, but it doesn't mean I speak it too well.
Well, anyway, Derek, try to see if you can find your live room, and in the meantime, remember we have the.
I will stop the sharing and I'll start it again because now still it is probably the same.
Yeah.
Stop the sharing.
Okay.
And
now we don't see it. Now it disappeared. Now it disappeared.
Good. All right.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, how we do the sharing again?
Then
You
have
go to that third button on the bottom, the middle button that has looks like a computer with an arrow.
Window.
And then select window.
Share.
Okay. Now let's
Can
see
you
if we
see
can
that now?
bring it on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Well, that was the try I did yesterday but you can see all the clouds. But what I'm doing, imagine I have already import all these photographs in 742 photographs already on this. Blah, 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 blah. What I'm doing here is we start from 1, all right? If I highlight the 1, it's better to go to something which in number 20, for example, is more the dark ones. Okay.
Yes.
I'm click the 1 and I'm going 20 and 50, 70. Actually, I have to be 69, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Now I have 50 photographs.
Okay.
All right, all of them highlighted. You see the other ones are not. This is highlighted. If I go on the top and press the right button, I have set color label. I can do this red. And then I go to the next one. 70 and 50, 120, 119.
And you can also use the shortcut keys 6 through like 9 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, 6 is red.
You,
7 is like blue or yellow.
yeah, for the color, yeah. But
Yeah,
the point is to find the number of the thing anyway. And you go to, for example, make it green.
Okay.
And I have red and green. Later on, I can make blue and magenta and again red if I want further down because it's 750, 742 photographs. And you can have these groups. Now, the only thing I have to do is just take the red and press my right click on the top of them and go edit in and further down on the end is open as layers in Photoshop.
Okay.
Now that my Photoshop will open and will load all these images. Give me a couple of minutes, 1-2 minutes until I actually do it. And I'll show you, I think I can pass on this screen, the other screen, isn't it? The window.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on whether you're sharing the window or the screen.
Window.
Okay. And you can do it on 10 photos, right? So basically you create now, I don't know how many you selected, 30 layers.
50. Can you see that now?
No, you're sharing
Photoshop?
Lightroom. You have to unshare Lightroom and then reshare Photoshop.
Okay, so he sent this to Photoshop, Robert. Huh?
To Photoshop, yeah.
Okay. So it's not, you cannot. So yes, you see, you cannot do it in Lightroom only. It requires you to go to Photoshop.
Yeah.
You know how many Photoshop courses I take, and the problem is I don't use it enough.
You don't remember.
I don't use it enough to remember it. So I mean, it's just.
I can't see the Photoshop, which I have other screen, but probably because reading the frames.
Okay, so we wait.
And Gustavo, I was planning on doing a demo on the light painting, the
Okay.
light, and it's the same process with the setting. You bring
Okay.
in layers and you change it to lights and so forth, or to lighten. So if we don't get to it, I'll be showing it at
Okay.
some
Because
point.
I don't use
I-
Lightroom, correct? I use Adobe Camera
now
Raw,
you
but
must
I
have the
recognize you can do the same, correct?
now you must have the Photoshop.
Let me see.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, it's loading. I should have done it with less photographs anyway. My mistake. I can stop it if you want to with the less frames.
No, that's all right.
We testing your M1 machine.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a
I
Windows
have
machine.
my own
you're in
build.
Windows.
Yeah, I have my own build AMD 7950X with 128 gigabytes RAM and ND of storage. Believe me, I have
Yeah.
plenty of storage. Something like 100.
Woo.
Combine it all my hard drive.
Yeah, that's why I don't do a lot of stacking and stuff like that. I don't want to deal with the sizes of the files and all that kind of stuff.
Actually, last night I make 153, all the 153 photographs from one from last night, but not this one, but from the Z9. This is from the Z5, if I remember well. Yeah, that's. Yeah. And I make. I put them all of them for sleep, but I thought go for sleep, but I had opened it before. It didn't
And
took
that's why
much longer as I was
photographers. I'm sure that's why some astrophotographers like to do the likes to do the 24 megapixel cameras, correct? So because they are not going to be cropping
it's helping because
You get less noise.
yeah, that's
as well.
The photo stacking for
Well,
me doesn't work because I would use it for macro, and the problem is because I live so close to the beach, so close to the water, there's always a breeze. So I mean, it isn't going to work for me because everything's moving too much. You know, I don't often get a day where there's no wind.
you can use you can shoot on the afternoon. In the afternoon for the
Well, what
foreground.
I'd have to do, I'd have to do like bring stuff indoors or something and set up set something up where I have perfect conditions. And they don't.
Well,
And plus, they don't. And plus, they don't
start.
even allow you to use they don't allow us to use tripods where I shoot either. So that kind of makes it impossible as well.
When I start photography, I had to take a big how call it this hard, thick paper, not cardboard, but anything, something like that, about a meter, and I make holes with and I make it like I put a light behind to create the sun, the sky. And I was playing with that, imagining how can I do it. Because I didn't know, I had no idea what I was doing. But I was playing with that, putting the light behind the cardboard. I think finished, not yet. Come on.
Yeah,
I
Photoshop
need a new
is
computer.
slow.
I know.
And Bob, while we're waiting here, you're doing a Photoshop or you use a different program?
Say that again, Gustavo.
So obviously this workflow from Terry from Lightroom and then Photoshop, you use this or you use a different program?
So for like the image behind me, for instance, when I'm doing Milky Way stuff and I'm doing a composite for the foreground, I use Lightroom, I use Photoshop, but I also use another piece of software for stacking the sky.
Okay.
Right. So, and I'll get into that when I do my presentation, but there's a couple of them. There's one for Windows and there's one for Mac.
Okay.
And
I
what
finished
is because, okay, I'll let Terry go.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
done.
I have all the images here, all the frames. I'm going to the last one, press the shift and the last one, and now all of them is highlighted, right?
Yes.
Now the only thing I have to do is go up here to the normal. You see my cursor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the blend mode. And from normal, go down to lighten.
Okay.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah, for some reason, it doesn't show the menu when you click on it. I don't know why.
I'll try again. Maybe it
No,
takes a bit of time.
Yeah, no, we can see the result, but it's just.
Yeah,
Maybe
no.
the
I can
refresh
see
rate.
on the presentation doesn't come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can see the change from normal
Free to change. Yeah.
Yeah.
to light.
Yeah.
And then you flatten the image or not?
Yeah, as it is now, the only thing you have to do, except if you find some lines here, you can see.
Yeah, you have a plane there.
You can see here.
Okay.
Now you have to find where is this line. And what I'm doing is I'm taking out of view some frames until I find out which one.
You can also, Terry, I presume you can also flatten and then erase
No,
it.
No, you want to do it first.
no, because you will take out the stars and you will leave a gap.
Oh, okay.
The way I'm doing it, I'm going to take up here we are, and I'll show you the difference. Now, the only thing I need to do is go to the brush
Okay.
and highlight the frame you are. Stupid Terry, never remember. Choose the brush and make the line as small as you want, closer to the thickness of the line. Choose from the black and white, the black. And click here, press the shift, go further down, you make straight line. And now you see that disappears. The small thing here.
Yes.
Well, now I'm going to the further down to the next one by highlighting the frame, and I'm doing the same from here to here, so on.
I'm sure that should be a way to do this in all the frames, like remove wires, correct? One of those mask AI things. Because this is painful.
It is. That's the only the only problem you have with the star trails. If you have a lot of these lines, is a bit annoying. But if you want to achieve something like that, 5 minutes more, when you have to spend all these hours, I don't think it would be a big deal. Now, I have eliminated the line, not exactly, I can lift a little bit, but doesn't matter. Now, I'm lighting again all the pictures, and you have
no line.
No line.
Yeah.
Without affecting the stars. Otherwise, that's what I was doing at the beginning. I was making it flat, and I was going with the bloom bloom, with a heal or replace or something like that. But my friend showed me, said, "Look, this. Come close and see the difference." And because he's a perfection maniac, showed me that, and I said, "Yeah, well."
And now you're one too. See what happens?
Yeah, well. But as you see now, go to layer,
Yeah.
menu. Can you see the menu? No.
Yeah. Well, no, but I can't. I don't know if it's anybody else.
I can't see that on my screen. That's why I'm asking. Anyway, go to the layer and almost the second from the bottom is the flattened image.
Yeah.
I'm pressing that, and you have the image. One image.
One image out of that grouping.
From the 50, I have only one.
Right. You
It's
got
I'm
one.
going to
compressed,
save
it's
it.
compressed all 50 to 1.
Yeah. I'm pressing the file and go save. Automatically, it will save it like TIFF because that's how it works for me. And it will give me an extra frame on Lightroom. I do the same on the second color or the third color and so on. And I will have the individuals from these colors. Then I'll combine all these individual ones the same way again. Instead to have a 50, you have a 5 or 10 or 15.
Yeah.
And with the same way, you have the whole thing.
Okay, so the only so instead of doing it, let's say you have 500 images, you do it in chunks and then
Right.
combine again.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Because can you see now my Lightroom? No,
No, you have to
the
stop
same
there.
problem as before. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah.
You, sorry, what you said,
You just go back to the share and do the window and click on your Lightroom app and
No, but
And
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point is, we come back and you have this only one frame.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And do
Wow.
the same on the next one and the next one.
Wow.
Yeah, you don't have to do the whole thing.
Yeah. Actually, what I actually do to make my life still easier, when I go to Lightroom and have the new frame, I'm taking out the color from this frame. And then on the end, it will be easier to find them.
Or you can just give them a star rating or something like that and just pick the stars.
Yeah, you can do it like that, or you can put it by the colors on the filtering underneath and say, show me only the no color or whatever.
Wow.
But for me, it's easy. I'm lazy. Boom, boom. I'm running the bar right and left, and I find the empty ones, and that's it.
Okay. Well, it certainly helped me.
Well, here's a question. Can you use an f4 lens?
Of course. Just update accordingly the setup. If you think the 4, if you have a nice clear sky and not much of pollution, if not no pollution, the F4 is more than good enough without changing any of the other parameters. But if it is so
comment here where he wants to go, where he goes.
Oh yeah, I hope we'll be with you. Take me. Yes, on a so nice and clear sky. I mean, if you don't have any clouds, and on a Gobi Desert, I don't think you have any clouds. It will be very nice. And the 1430 is very good. First of all, this lens is very good. Doesn't matter what, it is very good lens. I don't have it, but a friend of mine have it, and he's swear on that. Because I said I had the 1424, I said, nah, throw it out and buy the other one. It's cheaper and better. And it's not better, but it is very, very good. It would be fine, absolutely fine. Make a shot like a test, 1 or 2 shots, and check how visible are the stars on your frame. And maybe you have to update the the ISO or the speed.
Exactly.
I will avoid. Actually, yeah. If you're shooting with 30, yeah, with your what camera you have? If you have a Z8, Z9, you can
Yeah,
go.
yeah, he has a Z9. He has a Z9.
Then easily can go to 60 seconds instead of 30 or whatever. If it doesn't have this, you can just change the ISO. But I believe with no change at all, just the F4, you will have almost the same results. I don't think it will be any visible differences, because on the post-processing you can push it a little bit.
Yeah, you can push it a stop or two without a problem.
You can one third or 2/3 of the stop, and you are on the money. You will not see difference because the black is black.
And Terry, I don't remember if you touched on this earlier or not. From an ISO setting, you prefer to be lower. You don't want to shoot 6400, right? You want to shoot.
No, I make it yesterday
because the colors will come out more with the lower ISO, right?
Yeah. I prefer not to go more than 3200 as a maximum. Usually, I'm using between 800 and 1600. If I have a clear sky, I'm not going over the 800. My friends insist to go to 1200 or so, but I'm staying to 800, and I'm pushing a little bit the exposure on the computer, and end of the story. But I have a lower and better coloring of the stars.
Right. Or like we were saying earlier, go to a longer shutter speed, 60 seconds.
Yeah, play a little bit. And all this it is for our pleasure, isn't it? We're not professional. We don't sell the photographs. The experimentation, I think, is the holy grail for us. At least it is for me. Play around.
And the advantage to lengthening or shortening the exposure too is it'll reduce or increase the number of trails you get, right? So if you don't want to have too many trails,
exactly, that's another point.
A shorter exposure,
you will not show.
Right, you'll get only the brighter stars to show up and so forth.
Which is not. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So you had a question here from our friend Roy.
Yes, it is. We try to avoid moon. These days, the moon here is only, for us down here, Roy, the moon falling in the afternoon, you have a moonset. Today, I think it's 5 o'clock or so. Yesterday was 3:30 or something like that. And the night is really, really clear. If you have a moon, stay home.
I just cover up the moon when I go up there. I just put a big blanket over it.
You have the big blanket. I've tried to buy one, but it was too expensive.
Yeah.
And new moon is coming, correct?
Of course, yeah. In a few days we have a new, which is for us now, it is like continuation, long time with no moon.
Yes. So anyway, that's good, Terry. Appreciate it. So this should give us sufficient here to.
Well, in any case, they can send questions to you. Most of the times I'm on the panel, or they can use my email and they can send me a message if they need some clarification or something. It's not a problem for me.
Throw out the 14 to 24.
Oh yeah. Never. I'll die first. They will pass over my dead body to take it.
Do you know people that have used the Nikon 20 millimeter 1.8?
Yeah, that's a good lens too. It's a very good lens. That 14 to 24 is an amazing lens.
It's beyond amazing. And compare it with the old one.
Yeah.
It is almost day and night.
Yeah.
And we're talking for the other, the 1424, the F. It is magnificent.
Yeah, I have both, and they're both sharp in the center.
Yeah, but this one is sharp on the sides. I can stop the sharing from here, isn't it? Okay.
No, don't worry. We handle it.
All right, we got you covered.
But Tim, I mean, Robert chose the other day the coma on these lenses. I mean, it's
Yeah,
at the corner is almost nothing, all right, on the
exactly.
1424 and in the 20 millimeter.
Yep.
They
Well,
are
even the F mount is not very much coma at all
Yeah.
compared to the older 2024 F mount lenses or some of the other ones.
Or the 1124 from Canon, which a friend
Yeah.
of mine had, and was clearly visible.
And so, Gustavo, you were asking earlier about when we were talking focus sets.
Yeah, because the 20 is very nice, easy and light.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see it or not.
exactly. So let's make him big.
So if you go to the setup menu,
Okay.
Cover your face. Cover your face.
Yeah. But anyways, it's in the setup menu, and
It is too light there.
yeah. It's in a setup menu, and it's called save focus position. It's just a toggle on or off.
Okay. Okay.
And yeah, that's exactly what I do. Yeah.
And so if you have it on,
In which menu it is? On photo shoot?
Setup menu.
it's a setup menu.
On setup menu.
So if you have it
Yeah.
toggled on, then whatever focus position you had last, when you shut it off, it'll stay there.
No,
Okay.
that's
If you disable save focus position, it'll default to go to infinity or whatever it thinks it
Yeah.
is.
Can I be a pest and ask you again how the name of the command on the menu?
No, I'm sorry. You have to watch the thing tomorrow. It's in the setup menu, and it's about a third of the way down. It's called save focus position.
Exactly.
It's just below distance units and save zoom position, non-CPU lens data. It's in that area on the Z9.
Jeff, you notice that the people down there have ponytails. What's the problem here?
I have one, but it's very long and very thin, and if they don't turn around, you can't see it.
The people down there have hair. That's the difference.
Exactly. Ay. All right.
I could make a
position on. Yeah, I had it on.
Make a
As I said,
comment. I could
find
make
it
a
before a
comment.
couple of
I'd get
days.
myself in trouble.
Sorry. As I said before, Robert, I have found it before a couple of days, and I have it on.
Yeah.
But I didn't have experiment. Good to verify it.
So Jeff, shall we go to the regular show so that we can have a sleep tonight?
Sure, yeah. Otherwise, we'll be here till 2 a.m. So yeah.
Exactly. So let me go here to
Bring up your the YouTube. You gonna bring up the YouTube stuff?
Exactly. So discussion segment 1, guys. So let me move here.
Wipe your forehead. Wipe your forehead.
And you talk.
The Gustavo picked a few interesting YouTube videos that people should look into, or you may want to look into. And I specifically looked at the lens adapter Nikon refused to build. I had a lot of interest in that, having a handful of AFD Nikkor lenses with the screw drive focusing. And so Matt put out like kind of a first look video is what I'm calling it, using the new Monster adapter. It's not yet listed on B&H with a price or anything. Supposedly it's going to be like $397, although Jim, our friend Jim, real Nikon lover, thought it was going to be like $479 or something like that. So it's I don't know. We'll have to wait till it shows up on some of the the major retailers, but it's not out there yet. But Matt got one to try out that was sent to him from Monster Adapters, and it's so you can mount your AFD screw drive lenses on your Z mount body, which people that have a wide collection of those lenses and they have favorite lenses that they want to use, and Nikon for decades and decades and decades supported the screw drive focusing on DSLRs. It would use the later latest and greatest autofocus lenses that weren't screw drive, but also still supported the screw drive lenses. But eventually, as the time moved on, that mechanism was removed from the camera bodies, and a lot of people were left, gasping for air and not very happy. And Nikon obviously has not been in any hurry to try to create an adapter on their own. Now, I just watched the video on what Matt did. Now, he didn't have any AFD lenses. So first off, he went to a camera store that he was familiar with, and they let him borrow one. And then he went on where he lives, his version of Craigslist, what we would have in the States, and he bought a portrait lens, AFD portrait lens, 85 millimeter, I believe, from somebody. So he had two lenses to try out, and it seemed to work pretty good because he showed, you could see he probably had an external monitor so he could record what you see through your viewfinder, and you could see it locking on a person's face. You could see the focusing box on the person's face, and it was doing I thought it was doing a reasonably good job of focusing on people. And of course, the thing is, like, this isn't like just because you're taking an AFD lens and you're now able to use it on a Z mount camera doesn't mean that all of a sudden it's going to focus differently. Okay, it's going to work, but it's not going to, like, all of a sudden focus, 2 times faster or anything like that. And you can hear, if you're doing video, you could hear the motor, turning the screw. So, for those that were all anxious to be able to do it with these lenses, you're probably not going to, you're not going to want to use it for video shooting because you're going to hear the noise of it focusing. But if you're doing stills, that doesn't matter. He did not, it has a foot on it like the original FTZ adapter. And if you remember right, they had to modify the FTZ and come out with the FTZ2 because the FTZ was not going to fit properly on the Z9. And this, because it has a motor in it, it has a foot on it, but it's nowhere near as tall, as large of a foot, and it does mount successfully on a Z9 and work on a Z9. But he didn't really want to come to a final conclusion on it because he wants to test it out with a lot more lenses. But it's a good sneak peek at what, may be coming down the road. And I guess it all depends on if you have that specialty lens that is screw drive and you really, really, really feel you have to, you don't want to use one of your old camera bodies. Like if you have the D850, you could obviously, use that and get fine pictures with it. But it's a matter of whether you want to spend, $400 roughly for this adapter or not when it comes out. But it looks promising anyway. And I feel it's kind of unfortunate that Nikon didn't do it on their own. I think it's kind of embarrassing when you have, a group of people that are loyal customers that bought, in some cases, dozens of lenses from you back in the day to kind of like not
you have to be a bit reasonable.
Yeah,
you have to be a bit reasonable. Very old lenses.
Yeah,
no other camera brand does that.
Oh well, yeah, they supported their lineage of product longer than anybody. I mean, how many mounts has Sony had? Sony's had quite a few mounts.
Yeah, exactly.
Canon's had quite a few mounts.
Yeah.
So Nikon's been very, very good with their customer base, but it still would have been nice for them to do it rather than. I think it's a little kind of embarrassing when a third-party guy has to do it for you. But we'll see how it is in the end. Other videos here that Gustavo got was a Nikon Z6 III versus the ZR. Which one should you buy? By Frames TM. Wait, we haven't seen Frames TM pop up on this show. I don't think since I don't think he ever showed up when I kind of carried the show forward from Chuck. I don't know that he ever came on after Chuck, kind of was out of the game for a while, and which is unfortunate. But to me, that title of that video is nothing wrong with it. But obviously, you slap an EVF, you come out with an EVF that can go on that new digital hot shoe eventually on the ZR, and you would argue that it's not any different than the Z6 III at that point, but because you don't have that, yes, there is that difference. But a lot of the camera modes are the same, the capabilities are the same, other than that EVF, and the price point is extremely attractive on that ZR. I mean, I don't need it for my video content that I do, but if I wouldn't hesitate to pick one up.
If you make a still photographs, you buy the 6.3. If you want video first, you buy the ZR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's a case where people can say, I don't want to pay for video.
Yeah, right.
Now that camera fits the bill where people could say, I don't want to pay for stills.
For still, exactly.
But the one of the points that I wanted to make is that his video was very good. Correct. So it was and obviously we had commented about the CR versus the Z6 III, but his presentation, his comparison, his skill putting together the video was very good. So I mean, you have people like Matt Granger or our friend Matt right here, Jason Westminster, our colleague here in our grouping here, Frames, although we don't see him, that did a great, excellent together video. Correct, and it's one of the best videos that I have seen on the actual comparison. So that's why we're giving him the recognition here.
Yeah. And then you've got a link from the Natural History Museum on the Wildlife Photographer of the Year.
Exactly. You recently announced there is a bunch of YouTube videos of the photography of the year from the Natural History Museum in the UK and in London. Look at those videos. Fantastic photography for us that are in wildlife. Tremendous for any photographer. It's highly inspirational, correct? And you can see how photography helping on preservation and basically using natural photography as a way of recording nature, and it's a kind of photojournalism, but in terms of wildlife conservation. So, and actually the one with the hyena is actually the winning image, correct? And that is actually taken with a remote camera. So camera setting. It took the guy I don't know how many years to actually get the picture of a rare species in South Africa. So on the other side, you see full colors. Obviously, I'm going to talk a little bit about full colors. This guy here, you probably cannot see it because my name appears in top of it. But this guy, which is not as a channel that
I can get rid of you. There you go. You're gone. You're gone.
This guy, Michael or Michael,
Shane Blum. Yeah, Shane Blum. Yeah,
excellent presentation on taking full colors in Utah. Actually, when we talk about, show you some of the photos, a lot of the photos that he did on this particular episode is actually taken with basically telephoto lenses, correct? So trying to isolate out of he worked these full colors in Utah. So when you talk about full colors, it's not necessarily all, wide angle, the big landscape. You can still do landscape photography with a telephoto. So I recommend this video. It's inspirational. Obviously, he worked in the same here, the Rocky Mountain. and he also talked about the composition, what kind of thing he was trying to do, etc., etc. Right? And finally, here I got a recognition here to Matt, who's now doing some live streams, which I like. Correct, and I do not participate in all the live stream, but I like what Matt is doing, and obviously also with his other videos. Correct, and the one that just did, I think this Thursday, Tim, where he have a videographer here also from Australia. They both explain stuff about the different codecs, which I haven't heard. To me, as a no video person, so well explained. So it gives me some clarity on all the different situation with the codecs. Correct. So that I found that was excellent, and the one that he did also with Richie was also very good. So
Yeah.
as our congratulations to him and tell him that we are recognizing him.
Yeah, and once again, I want to recognize the whole team here, Gustavo. You're part of that team, and you've been working hard on a lot of presentations that you've done on the show, and of course, working with. I guess we should come up with a nickname with these guys. Maybe call them the Stargazers or something. But Terry and Robert and David. And the efforts that they're putting into this astro photography courses that they're sharing on this show, and as part of the community, and it's been great. And
Yes, it is.
yes, it is 20 frames per second, John. It's 20 frames per second. So we appreciate all the work you guys put into it, and Terry, you did a great job tonight. So don't no more apologizing for an accent or anything like that.
An excellent job.
You did a great
Fantastic.
job. We appreciate you taking the time to do it. People that haven't done presentations don't realize how much effort goes into putting together YouTube content or programming for the show and things like that, and it's a lot of work.
Jeff, sorry to interrupt, but I owe most of it to Robert, because Robert have covered on his presentation before. He covered almost everything. I built on top of what he produced, and the next part he will have to bring up for us the blending. I'm really looking forward to, and what David will bring later on with the Aurora.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's move on here to our favorite, with 2 chairs of photography. Correct. So got a couple of photos here. I'm glad that Roy is on, because as you know, some of our members of our community have very good humor. So to put us in the spirit of Halloween, our friend Jim, aka Real Nickel Lover, sent us a photo the other day that he said that by mistake he just happened to photograph a ghost, and he chose here what he did.
And he make fun of the ghost. Oh my God!
Exactly. He doesn't mind to be haunted, but
hey Jim, you pick on a ghost, we're just gonna go boo.
and of course, Jim knows our friend, our friend Roy, correct? So he actually is buying a car for Roy, the ideal car for Roy, and this is Roy's car.
I love that. I want it.
I asked him if he. I wrote back to Jim and I said, "Is this from a 3D printer?" And he said, "No, it's not a 3D printer." And it wasn't a Hot Wheels car. It was a metal. The car is made out of metal, and the camera rig setup there was, I think, just something that was made in China or whatever that he found somewhere, and he put it on the car and said, "This is Roy's car."
I wish it was mine.
Yes. All right. So now I'm sharing here some photos that I have been reprocessing, correct? So after all,
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
the fall
They're
colors,
amazing.
and so these are actually so, and also promoting the state of Colorado. These are all taken here in Colorado, correct? So unfortunately, as you guys know, part of the problem of fall photography is that it's too brief, correct? And is you have bad weather, it happens at a different time, or the leaf falls down, and so it's actually quite tricky. So these actually are some photos that I took long time ago. These were taken all in 2010,
where
and
is
these
this
were.
first image?
I'm
Is that your
sorry.
house up there?
That's Gustavo's house up there. I don't know.
Yeah. That's his house and that's his view.
Exactly. So actually, this is in Telluride, right? At the back side of the valley, in the cliff, they have this power plant from the beginning of the 20th century and the later part of the 20th century, of the 19th century, correct? Where they have this in order to power part of the city, but also to power the mines, correct? Electrification, for some you don't know that when it came with Edison, uh, 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 one of the first uses of electrification happened to happen in Colorado because to electrify and provide power to the mine. So this power plant here that it take care that took some water from this river here for this creek, correct? It was called, I think it was the um, I think it's Smugglers Union Power Plant, and this is known as the Bridal's Veil, correct? And you enter the main street in Telluride. This is what you see at the back. So this was taken with the 100 to the 200 to 400 f4, very great lens, f
Yeah, I got that
D
lens.
lens, taken a 200 millimeter, but because this was taken with the 300, the D300. This is equivalent to 300 millimeters. So this is as I discussed, you can do a lot of wonderful landscape photography, correct? Using telephoto, correct? And so some of you may see this. I don't know whether it's visible, but you see some lines in the photos. This is not that I scratch the the image. It's actually in order to the people to go to the uh, power line, they had to ride a cable car to go there. So this was a whole adventure, and many of these mines, the only way to go from to the actual places where they were doing the mining, they call it trams. They had to transport the people with the cable cars, and you can see some of the cable car. Unfortunately, it's difficult for me to point. Let me see if I can do it here. Oops.
I love the waterfalls that are so nice. These two there.
Yeah.
I love for
So you see some of the cable cars here and some of the lines. All right. So the next photos here, the other photo here from one of my favorite my favorite mountains in the San Juan range, which is Mount Sniffles. Okay. This is a great green mountain, one of the 14ers here, and this is taken from a road that if you go through that road there, I think this is either the Dallas Road or the Last Dollar Road. You have fantastic opportunities if the conditions are good. Then finally, on the right, you see aspens. We here in Colorado, our colors are mostly from aspen, although in the lower elevation, we get some colors from the cottonwoods. So we have a little bit less colors that you guys have in the East Coast, correct? But the aspen itself are quite attractive in terms of the bark of the aspen, correct? So you can see, you can try to get some composition like this with the uh, bark that shows the eyes of the aspens, or you can go for something more regular landscape like that one. Correct. So this is an aspen grove in the Last Dollar Road. Right? Again, all these photos are all photos that I recently was reprocessing in preparation for this year's fall photography. Right? So it was taken with the 2470, the G lens, at 34 millimeter, which is basically this is about 51 millimeter equivalent. And again, finally here I have another photo from Mount Sniffle. This is actually taken from the actual road. Okay, there is a parking lot there that you can go and have some foreground with the aspens and then Mount Sniffles in the background with a little bit of snow. Right, so this is one of the things guys to do, and we still have in different parts of the United States, and I think Canada probably is already all the fall colors are over, but certainly here in the United States, depending on which state you are, there is still opportunities to do some fall photography. So I encourage you. Sorry, you guys in the southern hemispheres, you don't have it, but we should take advantage of the remaining of the fall to try to do some photography. So that's what I have, guys, on sharing.
I dream of the day I'll come to see forest with these trees on a window.
Yes,
for a black and white photography.
And imagine doing that with the stars in the background.
Tell you, birch trees look wonderful in black and white.
Yeah.
So we have our second discussion segment here.
I'm going to share a picture quick.
Yes.
That was quick.
We've been so serious here. I think it's time to break the ice.
Yay.
We've been very serious, so let's put up a very unserious image.
Yeah.
So, you sometimes, opportunity presents itself, and I like pig butts. What can I say? So.
Sir eats a lot.
Yay.
Nothing beats a good butt, man. So anyway, hey.
Are you allowed to show that on YouTube?
I don't know. I mean, he's got glasses and a hat on. He's not naked. Oh man. All right, enough of Mr. Pig.
Enough time to make a screen cut. I have it now.
Yeah. So the next segment here, guys, is a little bit of a challenge also for all of us here, not only the panelists, but for the future shows, correct? So as we approach the end of the year, potentially some announcement at the end of the year or next year, correct? Let's talk about what we want to see in terms of lenses, correct? We have these two lenses that Jeff described, the 2DX lenses that were recently announced, correct? So in order to get you into the mode to do that, because we will do that in the coming weeks as we get to the final of the year, right? Let me show you some of you know that I maintain a kind of inventory spreadsheet with all the different lenses, correct? So I did around my spreadsheets, I did some graphics here. So let me show you here, so to encourage you to do, and we can start the discussion even today. So this is actually the chart that I have for all the C lenses, right? Which were first started the C line in 2018, and so far these are the total number of lenses. Now with the ones in today, I think we got to 49, although the total here say 44. Okay, because I did exclude several, I exclude some teleconverters, but we, in terms of the Z line, has now 49 different lenses. Correct. Now, the important for this chart is that it shows the number of releases. Right. So to that point here, into 2024, we had basically an average of about 6 lenses. And so far this year, as you know, with the 2 lenses, we have got to 5, correct? So 5 is actually within the average. So this could tell us that although there are lean years like 2018 and 2024, that we could expect more lenses before the end of the year, correct? So I want you to start speculating in this show and the future shows that we have, which lenses you would like to see, not only for the rest of the year if we have more lenses, but also in 2026. Okay? With regard to the cameras, well, I did make a mistake. So let's go to this one, correct? We know that we should expect to see some cameras in being announced, hopefully, correct? They typically release about 2 cameras per year. That have been the average, correct? But sometimes they have gone 3. The question is whether the new gen of cameras will come, or as we were talking before, whether the DX lens is a precursor for another APC camera, correct? Or another DX camera. Now, I updated this one, Jeff. This was, we discussed this in January, correct? And actually, since this is our predictions, no rumors, no inside information, but just our guess, correct? These are some of the things. Some of the things have come to pass, correct? In terms of features that are now present in other cameras that we would like to see on the future C9 and C8, correct? So in this chart, I divided between basically what we call priority hardware, correct? And then on the right side, you have the priority software, which obviously is enabled by the hardware, correct? So when we talk about in January, there was a lot of interest already on a new sensor. Sorry for the mistake there, a 16B sensor, okay? Then also related to the sensor, having greater dynamic range and global shutter. Whether that will pass or not on the next gen camera, we don't know, but this is what we wanted to see, correct? Then, of course, we believe that in order to enable some of this, the priorities, it will require a new processor, the Speed 8, which we haven't heard anything yet about that one. And many of us also would like to see the CFE Type B 4 to be part of the new gen cameras, correct?
To be supported with the hardware to support that speed, take advantage of it.
Exactly. Now, we also wanted to have a new EVF, correct, with higher luminosity and resolution. And actually, that has come to pass, as I indicated here when I updated the chart in this October, in preparation for the show. There is already a better viewfinder on the C6 III, correct? So
Yeah.
at the very least, it should be as good as the C6 III, correct? Then with regard to the back screen, okay, a new back screen with larger luminosity and resolution, I think we already have that one as well. The ZR has the 4-inch. Whether that will be possible in the CA format, I don't know. But certainly on the Z9, I would sacrifice some of the buttons on where the battery is to have a 4-inch screen. You don't like that one, Terry?
No.
I don't like
I want my butt. I want my
I'd rather have
butt.
the buttons. I'd rather have the buttons.
I'd rather have
My button.
And you would have
Me
to
too.
build the camera otherwise.
But can they, Robert, you and Jeff, with your engineering background here, do you think they can accommodate a larger 4-inch?
Not without growing the camera.
Nah.
Yeah, they'd have to grow the camera and make it a little bit bigger.
The only
The only way to
thing
get
that
what
they
you
want-
want is do what they did on the ZF, which basically has no buttons on it to speak of.
And it's a little bit,
The TR.
and it's a little bit taller, correct? It's a little bit taller than the C6 III. If you look at that image from
They can do it. They can do it if they make the frame much thinner and squash a little bit the buttons out. but now measuring 4 inches screen on Z10, Z9 on top of the 3.2 they have now. Yes, they can do it if they want it, with a little bit less frame around the.
They would have to reduce the bezel size too, probably.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have to. Yeah, that's what I mean. Less, smaller, thinner bezel, and
But you don't want to make it where it's a weak point with the camera either.
The thing I like about the Z9 though, right, and the tilt screen,
you can hang it.
doing that with your flippy screen.
Yeah, I don't want to make the flip. They can keep the flip.
That with a flippy screen. I can do this with a 70 to 200 lens on it, not be a problem.
Yep.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm glad we didn't have an accident.
I saw Seth do that first time, and I tried it, and I thought, yep, that's it. That's a tank.
And the other thing that we have been talking, remember, this is a compilation of things, is the higher megapixel, and Roy correctly said that that's a diffraction. Eventually, it's a diffraction issue as well.
It's not a big deal now, the diffraction anymore.
Yeah,
they can fix it. They have already fixed it.
So anyway, so these were the things that we have in October. I did not have to add too many things. So let's see on the hardware side, correct?
Yeah. Well, I think the kind of on the hardware side, in a sense, tied in with the Speed 8 processor. If you had an Speed 8 processor, you would hit what you have as item 8 on the software side. Is you'd have 30 frames per second raw. If you had that Speed 8 in a camera body, you'd already be at 30 frames a second. And I personally feel that they could have pushed 30 frames. They could have pushed 30 frames a second by cheating the way that the other camera company did by changing the bit rate down lower. They could have had
to the lower resolution, which is lossless anyway.
Yeah, they could have had 30 frames a second raw if they wanted it. And but give them credit, I guess. They just said, hey, we're sticking to our guns. This is how we designed the camera. We're not just gonna do that to shut people up that are being kind of idiots about it. And but I think their next camera, the Z9 II, is going to easily do 30 frames a second raw, if not more, because of the improvements that they'll make to the camera. I'd be shocked if it does not.
Exactly. But that's why I think when we started to put this together, this is actually
they can't do it 30 with the 60 megapixels.
These are actually not. These are more evolutionary changes than revolutionary changes. Right? These are not out of the realm of things that could be done. And Jeff, you're correct. I mean, if you put it, for instance, you have a better processor, and then you have the Type B 4.0.
You're no problem.
You don't have to change even the format, correct? You probably have a possibility, and that's why these things are interrelated. I call it software, correct? But they have to do with the hardware, correct? The portions that you have to maintain in the camera, correct? But how much is in the software? How much is in the processor and in the circuitry of the cameras? I don't know, but I'm sure there is some correlation between the two, correct? So anyway, if you guys want to have more to this list, or if you want to create not this, which is the separate between the evolutionary from the revolutionary, let us know, correct? Because I want to have this discussion to be a concurrent discussion. All these rumor sites, they are not going to be better at guessing than we are. And hopefully Deacon will surprise us, correct? And will give us some of this, or will give us other things that we don't expect, correct?
Well, I would think that they're going to make sure that I would think a big deal from a marketing point of view is if they support CFE Type B 4.0, because they changed their PCI interface and their hardware interface in the camera to support it. There is not a camera on the market right now that supports that. So
the A1 too?
No. No.
No.
You could put the card in it, but it doesn't
Yeah.
change the speed.
I bought it, I tested, then I sent it back because actually it was working slower than the previous version.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if they came out with that, they could say, "Hey, we did it. We did it first, and we invested the money into the development of putting in the new infrastructure that we need to support that." So that would be cool if they did that, along with if you do that with the processor. I mean, to me, I personally don't give a hoot whether. For me personally, global shutter is irrelevant for me because I don't do tons of flash photography where I need to have shoot flash, have flash sync at 1/32,000th of a second. I mean, that's just me, but
I can be the bad boy here, and I can say I don't care nothing of this as long as they give me the version 6 software for my 9. And then they can do whatever they want on the 2, on the 3, and on the Z9 145.
Well, and the one feature I do want, which hopefully will come out in the firmware 6, should that ever come out, is that focus distance limiter. That is so useful.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Extremely useful.
With you 100%. And this is something the professionals need and want.
Yeah.
It's not only for us, but the professionals need it. And that's why I blame Nikon about not listening about that. Supposedly they're listening, and probably I still hoping, like a hope dies last. I hope they will bring up the 6 with this particular. I don't care for most of the other things as much as the focus limiter.
Yeah.
And they have it already.
I don't care
already
about pixel shifting. I don't care about it.
Yeah, who cares about it?
Yeah.
But Bob, Robert,
I like to have it, I don't care.
This focus limiter here, correct? We actually put it on our list here, the list that I put together, correct? Before it was in the C8, and you can see now I put it in the
I understand. I'm just saying that that the title Z8 and Z9 II, obviously it's in the Z8 already. It's also in the Z6 III. I think as part of firmware 2, and so it can. There's no technical reason it can't be in the Z9 or any other camera that has a Z7 process, an XP7 process.
Yeah, you got to do at least one more major firmware update with the Z9 before you kick out the Z9 II. And I'm personally, my pet peeve is I can't believe they couldn't do. I don't know. I could be totally full of crap. Excuse my language, but to me, I don't understand. To me, they didn't put pre-capture RAW in the Z9 because they want that as a reason to make you buy a Z9 II when it comes out.
Yes, it's 105%.
They could have done it.
105%. They can do it.
They can do it.
They can. Even if they push down the resolution from the high lossless we use with the other lossless, with the star. I don't remember how they call it. High efficiency star. They can use it on high efficiency. Why they don't do that? With a small, that means it's not a matter of bandwidth, as we were to say the other time. It's not a matter of bandwidth.
It wasn't as big, yeah.
It's a matter of willing to do it or not.
Yeah, I think unfortunately, I think they just got
these two things.
Their marketing guys made a decision to use that as a prop to get us to trade in our Z9s and get Z9s 2s when they come out.
Oh, don't be so pessimistic.
I blame Sony about that, and I hate Sony because what they're doing with their with their own people. Doesn't matter me. I'm not a Sony user, but I hate what they're doing with their own people. Make a new camera instead of put something on a software. And every 6 months, they have a new camera, and go to buy new cameras, which is not, for me, it is not nice. When they have been proved that they can do things with the software. And that's what Nikon have done to us, giving us all these enhancements on Z9.
So,
But
so Terry,
follow to the end.
so Terry, this is my challenge to you and others, correct? So, so think about it, correct? Because we're going to keep discussing this, and write us an email, correct, telling us two things. What things would you like to have in a Z in the software update that you want for your C9? So that's one list. And what do you want on a Z9 2 that will make you buy that camera?
Well, it's very difficult to make me anything to buy it because my budget is not enough anymore. When I sold my house and I had $20,000 aside just for cameras, and I spent all of them plus. Right? Plus what money I gained from the D850 and the rest of the Nikon stuff I had. It's very. You have to be a really remarkable camera to make me buy the Z2, the Z9 II. Must be really, really remarkable. But if they put, to tell you straight, if they put these enhancements from software to the new 9.2, I will really, that will be the end of Nikon for me. Yeah. So I know it is a very big word, but I mean it. If they put these things, which they can do it on a software, on a 9.2, for me, the Nikon is that's it. What I have from Nikon until they go off, and that's it. I never touch in Nikon again. I'm really, really up to here with this, with the Nikon. Yeah. Sorry, maybe I'm crazy, but that's how I feel about it. I pay 9,000 Australian dollars for a camera, which at this moment supposedly was the how call it the number one. And this time it is lesser than the 8. Yeah. I cannot accept that. Under any circumstances, I cannot accept it. They have to make it equal. Yes, I can accept it. Or take out something like, I don't know, something small. But not to be lesser than the 8. When I have paid a lot of money for that. And I give them the money to expand and make the 8.
In all fairness, it does have stuff that the 8 doesn't. It's got better battery capacity. It's got the, it's
the only big thing they have is the battery.
So it's. I agree with you in part.
At this moment, the only thing better they have is the battery, Jeff.
To me, I love having a bigger battery. I love having a bigger, and you said it yourself. You're doing those 500 shots, and you could shoot it with a Z9 and not have to have a power bank.
I've gone out with on a normal day out, and I come back with the 1,400 images, and I had more than 1/3 of the battery still.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a Z8, and I'll tell you, my Z8, if a Z9 II came out and I liked it, I'd trade in my Z8 if I could and get a Z, and maybe get a Z9 II and keep my Z9 and have a Z9 and a Z9 II, because I don't use the Z8 hardly at all.
I will understand that. Yeah.
And I still believe that the Z8 at this moment is a better camera, and I love the Z9.
Exactly.
But anyway, Terry, do it as an intellectual exercise. Just write what you want, okay? in the next, what is a firmware version 6?
Yeah, I will send you this email, and I will send you what I want for the Z9 II, which make me think about go for it.
You know, I'm a Latin person. I love passion, so I love your commitment to.
I'm a Greco.
Hey, since you're Greek, when you get mad at Nikon, just throw a plate at them.
Yeah, but that's fun, man. Except if you throw it this way.
Yeah.
If you throw it this way, it's fun. If you throw it that way, it's a different story.
So continuing, and by the way, guys, that applies to everybody, including our friends in the chat. Let us know, correct? This is fun, correct? We do our friend Chuck told us this is part of the fun when we do it here. This intellectual exercise of imagine what the camera will do. But this, by the way, all these lists is, as I say, is evolutionary. I don't see anything is out of the realm of what we can imagine. Okay, and tell us also about the pricing. Now, on the software side, that's where we got my preference, correct? Because I'm waiting for the pre-capturing RAW, correct? That's definitely something that I do want to have. Like I wanted to have focus distance limited, but I have it already in my C8. But I want to have pre-capture RAW in one of these cameras.
Wrap it now. Thank you very much.
Yes, and then of course we should expect with a new processor and better software that we're going to have refinements on the autofocus and the autofocus detection, correct? Remember what I said the other day, that because they updated the motor on the new 24 to 70, I think that update of the motor tells me that they want to make sure that the new generation of cameras take advantage of a motor that is better quality, correct?
Yeah, as long as you don't have a pacemaker.
Exactly. Well, that thing, when we talk to, maybe that's a question that we need to ask when to a Nikon representative when it shows up. What happened? Is this for real, or this is something that is too precocious? Maybe, Bob, this is something that we may need to find out. What is the electromagnetic signature at a distance? Okay, from that.
Well, they'll sell what they'll do. They'll have to sell it with an optional vest.
Yeah.
Special vest
but you see
that you wear if you have a pacemaker.
But that's
now you said about the new stuff. If you remember, you watched the Risi with the Matt, right? Matt Irwin with the Risi. He said about Nikon. That's why I'm still hoping Nikon listening very well, and they're doing things. And until now, Risi was saying, "Yeah, okay, we will blah blah," but this time was more because they have a lot of pressure. They have a lot of pressure of the people.
I think they will update the firmware on the Z9 to have everything that's in the Z8. I have no doubt about it. I'm sure they're going to do that.
It is ridiculous, the grip for the Z8.
I agree. This is a good comment. They have to make a better battery.
But if they have done it nicely, nobody will buy the 9. Yeah. Because that's the biggest difference between the Z8 and the Z9.
Well, it would have been taller with the grip. With the grip, the Z8's taller than the Z9.
Yeah, that's it, and it's very close to the price anyway.
I tell you, Terry, I bought all these extra grips for the 300, the D100, the D850, all the cameras. I had to buy an extra grip.
Oh, that's why
I did too. When I bought,
I jumped to Z9 very easily because I had the grip on the 850, and it was exactly the same weight. The 850 with a grip with a Z9 is exactly the same weight.
Yeah, my 810, my 810A, my 850, they all have a grip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They were doing sales when I bought them. So when I bought the 810, it was like a Christmas sale, and you got a free grip with it, which at the time was $600 for the 810.
Yeah, I bought a second. How call it? Third party.
With the reduced cost of the sale price on the camera plus the free grip, you were saving like $1,200.
Yes,
and same thing with the D850. They had the Christmas sales had free grip with it.
Yeah, so you ended having a D5 like $1,000 cheaper than with the combination of grip and D850. $1,000.
So I actually bought a D5, not a D5. I was thinking D500 when you said that. I actually bought a D500 a couple months ago with 8 exposures on it.
Oh my God!
Oh. Now Jeff is really
and that came with a grip too.
They're really jealous now.
All right. So let's keep going here, guys. So obviously the next thing in the agenda that I put on the priority software here, anti-theft features. Whoever company come with an anti-theft feature, that will
Yeah,
be a great sale point, right?
yeah.
And that could be you know, thumb recognition or something that allows you, or actually being able, depending on the Wi-Fi capabilities, which is not in the hardware side, but better Wi-Fi, and you can disable your camera if it gets stolen. Okay? So there are ways to do anti-theft features that I think will be attractable without having to, input a password every time you switch your camera on. Then programmable function for a special, frame per second, or from particular captures, correct? Like Sony has with the A9, that would be great to have, so that you can speed up the camera, uh, particularly when you talk about higher than 30 frames per second on demand. Okay, focus distance limit. We have it. That we should have, I agree with you guys. We should have it on the C9. Image authentication. We were talking about that in January. Obviously, this is a problem because
Yeah, they tried it, but have a problem.
exactly. So there's a failure to launch here. Correct. Something so they need to keep going, and that's why they didn't mark it as already in the C6 III. Tim, the next one came from you originally in one of our conversations. They improve operability via iPhone and tablets, correct? That's still something that they can improve, correct?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They are so low. Everything go from there going only up. They can't go lower than that.
Actually, what I would really like is a way to edit my camera settings from either my phone or desktop, and then just be able to have different banks, and you can just load them in and out and configure everything from your desktop, so you don't have to go through all the screens.
Exactly. Actually, to have an app that basically is an emulator of all the menus inside your camera or your firmware, correct?
Yeah, I mean, if it's on desktop, you could just lay it all out on one screen. You wouldn't have to go through multiple screens.
Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, so that's what this is here. Tim. This is something that will be great. I agree with you. Correct. And of course, we talk about frames per second. I know that people like Jeff, they don't want more frames per second, God forbid. Correct. But I guarantee you can do 30 plus frames per second burst in flight, or coming out of an egg cavity. You can take advantage. But I agree also with Jeff. You don't need it to have it engaged all the time. So having a button that you could program to say, now I want it, and now I don't want it, like Sony had done, is a great thing. So anyway,
I'm doing it with a hold change and hold. How they call it? I have it organized on my third button.
yes,
It is I press and then hold setups, and then I pressed again and come back to where you were, and I have it on 20 frames per second full, and the rest blah blah blah, because I don't want the 20 all the time. On the beginning, yeah, it was nice. 150,000 for the photographs.
exactly.
But yeah, until now I have the 15 with the 12, maximum 15 with the 12.
Yeah, I don't shoot. I rarely shoot 20. Very rarely.
But if I need to, I click just that and give me 20 seconds and 20 frames, and it's really. I took this setup from Steve Perry.
Exactly. That's. But the problem is that if you wanted for that, it had to be only for that. Correct. Now there are people that if you want to have other set of like different ISO, so that we can go from, or in different speed. You want to, like, for instance, some people recommended, what is the Jane Wagner? He uses that to change between, let's say, high speed photography for birds above 3,200, or
Recall.
or one
Before
or
shooting and hold.
exactly. But so there
You have a lot of settings to set there, and you have it at any time you press the button. Almost everything: manual, aperture, exposure, ISO, just with one button.
Okay, guys, here you go. What do you think? I say no. We'll work our way down.
I don't think they will. I think they got to wait for the technology
It's
to
too
really,
expensive.
the technology's really got to improve.
Yeah. I say I don't think it will come in the C9 too, but if you ask me, do you want it? I do want it, because I think it's like any technology improvement. We will find ways to use that global shutter.
Well, with the Z9 now, the only thing that you don't get with it is really the flash sync, right? Because you don't have any
rolling shutter.
I don't have any rolling shutter now. That's all. If I had it, I'd want it. If that's the reason why I have rolling shutter, because I don't have a global sensor, I might say I want it. But I don't have rolling shutter, and I don't need to shoot flashes at 1/80,000th of a second shutter speed. So,
well,
I
and
don't-
at
it doesn't matter to
80,000th
me.
of a second, you need a freaking
Yeah,
sun.
Which
for
you
flash.
will need
You don't
exactly
even
a
have a
huge.
flash you don't even have a flash that's good enough for that speed anyway.
Yeah, but
Well,
I disagree
the
with you
flash
guys.
is 1/20,000th of a second anyway.
Yeah, I tell you, if people like us will find a way to use.
Yeah, because we are buffers. Yeah, we are dummies. I know.
No, not to buy it. It's just to use it. I tell you, I do high speed flash photography with the hummingbirds.
Me too. Yeah.
Okay, and I tell you, I would like to go beyond the flash synchronization of 1/8,000.
Well, but that's our point, Gustavo. Is if you don't need flash, there's no other purpose for it.
No,
because because there is no rolling shutter with the shutter,
120
the
frames
electronic
now.
shutter that you have right now on the Z9. So
exactly.
The only improvement is flash. If that's
The-
important, then yes.
The only improvement that we know, but there may be something on the computation of the photo, correct? That
But
may benefit from
Gustavo, if you have the global shutter for more frames, you will need a huge flash.
You're going to
More
have to have a
expensive
server.
to
You're
buy
going to have
more
to have a
flash.
server for your files, like David Stewart does.
You
No,
need
no,
a big stroke here.
no. Actually, Terry, I think
Kills it.
that's a little bit of a misconception, because if the flash can also synchronize with the camera, that flash is so short-lived that even regular flash can be quite instantaneous. So what I
Yeah,
say
but
is
it lose power, man.
yeah,
It lose power. But it doesn't give when it goes to so high synchronization. Seth Miranda, which he used flash 101% on his photographs, he was talking about it and said, don't be fooled with the numbers and all marketing things. When you go a little bit higher and a little bit higher, you lose a lot of power of flash, and then you need bigger and bigger flashes, like studio flashes. For studio flash and things like that, yes, you don't care. You have the monsters there and do the job. But if you go out for a wildlife photography, for example, how you can care for these things? If you are a professional and you go with 150 people helping you around and set up the case, yeah, but I can't see the practicality of.
What I'm saying is, guys, is
you will buy it anyway. It's okay.
no, not that I will buy it. Is that they could be used beyond flash or benefits. Let's call it benefits.
Yeah. Of course you can use it. Of course, if you have something, you can use it. But how much you really need it?
Yeah.
Because that's why we are the people which pay and make these brands big, because we pay to make them big boys. But with things we don't really need.
Yeah, I remember, I'm not advocating for that. Just saying that it's like any technology, correct? It's like we talk about here on our computers. They say on the Apple, the N1, the N2, the N4. You don't have to have, if you have an N1, you don't have to have an M5, but eventually.
That's why I spent $3,500 to make a new computer. I didn't need it. I want it. I know. That's why I said you will buy it, because I would buy it too.
No, but what I'm saying, eventually,
Need it or not.
Eventually, there will be advantage, correct?
Eventually they'll do it, but I think it'll be in the next flagship after the Z9 II.
Probably.
It could be. We
It'll
don't
be
know.
like the Z10. The Z10 will have a global shutter.
It could be. It could be.
We'll start that rumor right now. Z10 global shutter.
It could be.
Right now, you have ISO limitations, right? With the global shutter, you have.
Yeah, you don't have a low base ISO. That's the other negative. You don't. You have a high base ISO. You're like at ISO 250 or 300 or something, right?
Yeah. 200 or 400.
But that's today's technology, correct? I mean, we talk about we do know, correct, that for industrial applications, correct, and there are already 100 megapixel cameras that are global shutter.
Well, right? In the technology, we know they have cameras where they make 3 million frames per second.
Of course, what I'm saying
but there are special things and expensive. That's
I'm not looking to shoot bullets going out of guns or anything, so I don't, I don't care.
Guys, what I say is don't box let's not box ourselves in type of. Remember what I said. These lists that we put here is mostly evolutionary, but there could be revolutionary things. Maybe the global shutter is it will be revolutionary because it will bring other things. I'm just trying to be devil's advocate. I'm perfectly happy. Actually, the question that we know we all have to ask ourselves, including Terry was saying, is what can they give us that will compel us to buy this new camera instead of continue using the cameras that we have?
Well, if they give me the number 6 with the proper things, then I will think for the Z2 if they give me more.
Let's call it a night, guys. Getting late.
Anyway, so no, we still have one more segment. We still have one more segment, Jeff. So let's do it properly.
Wait.
You're killing me, man. If I don't get enough beauty sleep, my wife won't look at me.
No, all coming. We cannot do.
That means she's looking at you now.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's probably true as well. When she says what, I said, should I get a mask for Halloween? She says you already got one.
You had one.
Upcoming. I wrap it up quickly here. Okay. So
before you do, I feel like I need to defend my Z9 here. This camera's been out for what, 4 years now?
Yeah.
So it's gotten more features. It's gotten more features since I purchased it than it had when I bought it. And some of the differentiators between this and the Z8. This has Ethernet. You got your PC flash sync. If you want anti-theft features, look, it's got a Kensington lock right here. It's got GPS built in it. There's a lot about this camera that's better than the Z8.
Oh, I agree.
I would much rather have the Z9 than the Z8. It also balances better. You put a long lens on it, I'd rather hold the Z9 than the Z8.
Definitely. I'm not changing my 9. I'm not changing it. I didn't say that. Just I feel the Z8 they have things which should have been on a Z9 too. I don't say don't give it on 8. Give it to 8, to 9, to 7.
Well, you wanted it in a 9 before they. You wanted it. See, the thing is, here's their logic. Okay, I know what you're saying. You're saying I got the flagship. I paid this money for it. I want to see it in a 9 before you put it in an 8. But the reason they put it in the 8 before they put it in the 9 was they're selling a lot more 8s than they are 9s. So from a marketing and dollars and cents standpoint, it made sense to put it in the 8 first because they got more people buying 8s than 9s.
I accept
I
that
have no doubt.
100%.
I have no doubt they'll put it in the 9, but that's why they're jumping. I mean, you got features in the ZF that you don't have in the Z9.
Exactly.
A
Right.
lot of it is the firmware takes a while to get there, and depends on when you start the cycle. They're not all in the same cycle. It'll get there.
That's what I said. I hope they will give the proper things on version 6, and then they can give us the Z9 2 with more invention, and which they will have 100% because they have the red. That's why they bought the red. Anyway, they will have 100 new things. But
anyway, so
I
let me
think
move
we've
on
killed
here.
it.
Oh wait, two more things: better thermal management and 2 CFE slots.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep.
But let me move
have
on
to
here
now.
because I know Jeff is going to kill me next week when he wake up. So guys, remember the purpose of this segment was to have this discussion over the coming photo launch. So think about your arguments, prepare them, and have them ready for our next installment because
And
we're
send
going
it to Nikon.
we're going to keep discussing this. All right. So photo launch, like topics and ideas in the pipeline, correct? So I think we have the continuation of the astrophotography series. I think David has offered to do an Aurora special. I think that will be on the December 20th. That's the next slot that we have available. And Mr. Sanji Pal, when he listened to this, he offered a world premiere. So we're still waiting to hear a little bit more so that we can make thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. Correct? And we have penciled him in for the January 17 to be confirmed. Correct? So we're not putting pressure on Sanjit. We're just saying, let us know.
No pressure, but in 17 you have to have it.
And we've got Michael Dries doing the Netherlands talk in November.
November, exactly. So we want to, all the topics that we talk is about discussing about calling your photos, what to keep, what to process, correct? So that's something that we could work here together. And as you see, I already included as topics here, next camera lenses prediction for 2026. So this is the beginning of that, right? So now let me move on to the next slide.
This is what we have already know about. We have announced it anyway.
Yeah.
So
as long as we don't talk about it, as long as we talked about it here now.
Yeah, you put that topic up, you might as well just yell food fight.
Limit
it to 5 minutes.
Yeah,
exactly. But if people, let's come prepare. Let's come prepare. If somebody doesn't want to make a table, send it to me, and I write it down and I attribute it to Terry or Tim or Jeff, and we see how good or not we are predicting the future. Okay, so this is our calendar to 2025, 2026. Okay, image review, November 1st is coming 2 weeks from now. Right, then as Jeff was talking about, then we have our general meeting on November 15th. That's where we're going to have Mike Dries, correct, talking about photographing seabirds in Newfoundland. Then we have the image review December 6th. And then we have the Aurora on December 20th, correct? And as we talk about then image review January 3rd, Jeff, and then to be confirmed that special presentation, hopefully from Sanji Pal, right? From Sanji, right? So we already have a photo launch live thumbnail in preparation here. So and by the way, Mike already has sent us, like Jeff mentioned last week, a fantastic set of photos, which I already put it in a PowerPoint. I need to send it back to Mike so that he wants to add some text or something. But the images, guys, are spectacular. Okay? And I'm not talking only because they are bird. The quality of the photography, fantastic. Okay. Then our next image review, as we said, Saturday, November 1st. So it's coming up. Please do send your images to selectedimager1@gmail.com. How many images we have already, Jeff?
We got 25, not counting whatever I throw in. We got 25 right now.
Exactly. So
I'll send
the
you
sooner
mine
you
now.
do, the sooner that you do your as soon as you make your selection, please do send it so giving chance for Jeff to put them or organize them, preferably before the show, midday Friday, October 31st, or sooner. Okay, and include a description of your photos. And let's leave it at that. I stop at talking about this one. Any Q&A? If not, we're going to adjourn here in 10 minutes or so that we can have.
I don't think we.
Do you have any questions or stuff in the?
Yeah, I didn't see any QQQs that we missed. I'm just quickly going back and seeing if there was anything that we need to pick up on here. So I'm just looking through quick.
Looks like Albert and Randall are taking off.
Okay, guys, have a good one. And yeah, Roy always brings up, and more so for like what Terry does, having illuminated buttons on your camera is a godsend at night if you're doing night photography.
That's true. C9 and C8.
Yep,
Yep.
Z9, Z8. Yep.
D850.
Yep.
Let's see. I don't know. I think we pretty much commented on most of the stuff here. I think we did good considering we. I thank you, Robert, for coming in and adding another person on the panel here. We were a little short this week.
Well, yeah, I was coming in to support Terry anyways.
So
My friend.
Not that he needed any support. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you say that now.
So we'll give you a round of applause for your hard work, guys. And we're gonna call it a night, everybody, and try to get your images in. Remember, the 31st is Halloween, so you may want to send them in the day before because you'll be dealing with people throwing eggs at eggs will be thrown at your house on the 31st. So you want to be ready to clean all that up. So you got to send me the images the day before. So
Jeff, you need to be nicer. Nobody ever eggs my house.
well, they look at this head and they go egg them.
I live in the boonies. Nobody comes by.
But,
All right, guys. Good
guys,
night
have
for
a
you.
good one. Thanks for your support. As always, thank you, Gustavo, for working with these guys and putting together, helping put together the presentations with them and keeping them honest. And I know you asked them probably 5 million more questions than they wanted you to, right, guys? Yes. They asked you 5 million more questions than you wanted them to, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm good at asking questions. See you guys 2 weeks.
Bye-bye, guys.
Take it easy, guys.
See ya.
Yeah, bye-bye.